Flashback: a dragon looms over a girl, demanding to know why she craves power. She locks in, vowing to reunite with her master and finally walk by his side. Relaxed, the dragon asks if this master is actually stronger, making... She screams it's obvious, telling the dragon she's barely started his basic training. The dragon's baffled, demanding to know what the master is since there's no way he's human. She cuts him off, insisting he's definitely human. Then the bombshell: his dad is the creator god and his mom's a nature spirit. She sees his silhouette among volcanoes and starts to say his name, but suddenly a heavy boot slams down. A dark-haired man stands there, instantly recognized as Swordmaster Saint Alice. She looks up in awe, calling him the legendary sword Saint Takumi. Takumi stares her down, totally baffled, but there's more to it. He scratches his cheek awkwardly, insisting she's got the wrong guy. He insists he's no legendary sword saint or anyone special. He says he's just a retired old man living solo in the mountains for ages. She laughs it off, calling his humor top tier. Takumi notices she's ignoring him and demands her true identity, making her... She apologizes for the delay, finally revealing she's Lord St. Alice's top disciple. Takumi laughs at the name, a total blast from the past, and she looks up with a grin, finally introducing herself as Leia. Takumi laughs. The girl he saved right before retiring is now a sword saint. Reality hits. He screams, sword saint, in total shock. He panics, asking if she means the wild brat he taught chopsticks to 10 years ago. Leia nods. That's why he's the strongest human and Alice's master. Takumi cools down, muttering that Alice has become a beast. He stops. If she's only second, who's ranked above her? Assuming the rankings haven't changed, he asks if Great Sage Nirohachi is still one. Leia shakes her head. Nirohachi's already dropped to third place. Still smiling, she announces the current number 1. She crowns Takumi the universe's strongest, but he looks dead inside. Takumi's soul blasts into deep space from pure shock. He hits the dirt, screaming it's impossible he retired 10 years ago. He admits his team carried him to rank 500, and he's done nothing since. He stammers, desperately pushing his tragic backstory. His old party fires him, calling him useless to his face. He screams that after getting kicked out, he quit adventuring to live alone in the mountains. Leia smiles and waves it off, calling him too humble since she knows his legendary deeds. She flexes her insane feats, clearing the great dungeon and slaying an ancient dragon to save the capital. She calls his work the greatest in history, past, present, and future. Takumi stares in terror, screaming he remembers nothing. Takumi panics, screaming his only memories are hunting small game and growing mountain veggies. Leia ignores him, smiling as she praises his humility and calls him a wonderful person. Takumi turns away, totally done, wondering if she understands a single word. He asks her if they really think he pulled all that off alone. She corrects him. Guild records prove he and Lady Alice were a duo back then. Alice says Takumi did everything solo like a total beast. Takumi realizes Alice actually became a sword saint and crushed those legendary quests. Now she's claiming he did all the work, he's piecing it together. He thinks she's just repaying him for taking care of her as a kid. Mystery solved. He'll head down the mountain later and tell the guild the truth. Takumi stares at the massive building. Being rank 1 is a crushing weight, so... He asks her real motive. Leia gasps, caught off guard, and Alice is the strongest human alive, but she's a total failure at teaching. She rushed here to beg for training from Sword Saint Takumi, the universe's strongest. Takumi shuts his eyes and lets Leia down easy. Alice wasn't the disciple she thought. He smiles and waves her off, making it clear he isn't taking any disciples right now. He walks off, claiming he's too weak to teach and telling her to just give up and go home. Takumi freezes in a cold sweat as Leia casually draws a blade. She stares him down, calmly vowing ritual suicide if he won to make her his disciple. Radiating pressure, she demands, Takumi, think hard and give a serious answer. Takumi's screwed. She won't listen to a word, so... He caves instantly, accepting her as his disciple. Leia asks if he's for real. She bursts into happy tears, screaming thanks to her new master. Overjoyed, she tackles him with a bone-crushing hug, nearly flattening him on the spot. Outside the cave, Leia panics and screams, demanding to know her master's fate. Takumi wakes up screaming he's alive. Leia apologizes, assuming he's just exhausted from fighting an ancient dragon for a month. Takumi stares her down and bans her touch forever next time he's dead. Leia gets it wrong, thinking his power is so massive that touching him is dangerous. She knows he forced his body to shut down just to shield her from his massive power. She slams her head down in a deep bow, apologizing for the trouble. Takumi stares, realizing she's dead wrong about everything, but correcting her is a total pain, so he lets it slide. One more hug and his body gives out. He's dead. He wings it, hands her a fake license, and sends her packing. He puts on a confident front and plays along, telling her she's spot on. This becomes the most repeated line of his entire life. He doesn't know it yet, but ignoring this misunderstanding will be his biggest regret. Leia looks down, admitting she has zero control over her power. She attacks with full force every time because she doesn't know how to hold back. Alice called him the strongest, but his aura's weak as a goblin. She knows he's hiding his true power. Leia bows, admitting she couldn't sense his power. He hides his strength better than even the top pros. Takumi listens to her praise, but hearing how weak and pathetic he looked still stings. Leia grins, theorizing his insane aura control was forged through brutal, bloody training. She begs him to teach her, but a clueless Takumi just sweats bullets and, to stall, he says training starts tomorrow and puts her on potato peeling duty. Leia snags the potato and snaps to attention, eyeing it like a critical mission objective. She draws her massive sword to peel it, realizing the cooking is actually secret training. She screams she expected nothing less from Master Takumi. He keeps his back turned, baffled by her intensity. But he turns with a calm smile, praising her perfect deduction while secretly winging the whole thing. Takumi peels potatoes, unaware this random chore is actually legendary training. Takumi suggests rabbit hot pot and checks for allergies, but she's down for whatever. Leia eyes the meat, asking why he's hunting tiny rabbits instead of massive bears. Sweating, Takumi deflects, asking if they'd really eat a giant monster if he caught one. He can admit fighting a bear is way out of his league, but Leia misreads him, stunned by his deep philosophy of respecting life and refusing to kill. Alice spilled everything Takumi's dad is the god who created the universe. His mom's a nature spirit, and she's convinced his parents are literal gods. Takumi calls nonsense. His parents are just ordinary innkeepers. He questions Alice's crazy lies, but something smashes through the roof between them, cooking sober. The roof collapses. Leia panics, screaming Takumi's name. One look and she's impressed, saying he's exactly what she expected. The enemy's right there, but Takumi hasn't budged an inch. She's stunned he's holding his ground against that massive killing intent. She thinks he's naturally calm, but he's actually just paralyzed. He's so terrified he wets himself on the spot. Leia levels her sword at the winged girl, demanding her identity. She's clearly not human. The intruder smirks, asking if she really looks like an inferior species. She stares them down, revealing she's Chloe, daughter of the Black Dragon King. She's here to find the human who supposedly killed the ancient dragon. Chloe gets in his face, demanding to know if he's Takumi while he sweats bullets. She's Chloe, daughter of the Black Dragon King, and she demands to know, is he the guy? Leia snaps. It's not her. Pointing out the man right there is Master Takumi. Chloe eyes the trembling wreck, asking if that thing is really him. She's totally unimpressed. Takumi stares at the wall, crushed by her disappointment but too terrified to talk back. Leia snaps at her rudeness, yelling that Takumi is just hiding his insane power. She warns the dragon girl if he gets serious, she's wiped out in a second. Takumi's trembling, burning every bit of power just to stay conscious. Chloe buys the lie and demands to see that hidden power right now, so Takumi panics, begging for time with a lame excuse about his hot pot being almost ready. Chloe watches, baffled. How can he focus on soup scum in the middle of a bloodbath? Leia smirks and answers for him, telling the dragon girl that Takumi doesn't even consider her power a threat. Takumi smiles like a pro with his ladle, but inside, he's given up on life and just wants this over. Sweating bullets, he just wants a quiet last meal, but plays it cool and asks her anyway. He offers them stew, telling them to eat up and cool off first. He smiles like a saint handing over the bowl, but only because he's already accepted his death. A massive scream blasts from the cave, shouting about the delicious food, and, cheeks stuffed and blushing, Chloe shouts, "It's the best food she's ever tasted." Thinking he's a goner, Takumi offers a refill, and Chloe instantly screams for seconds. He offers Leia seconds, but she declines, insisting on serving herself to avoid bothering him. Takumi serves Lyra, claiming it's a teacher's duty. She's thrilled, but he's only calm because he's accepted his doom. Leia takes one bite and loses it, screaming that this hot pot is out of this world. Mouth full, she rants, "He's a cooking genius and a powerhouse, a terrifyingly all-powerful Superman." Takumi laughs off her worry and tells her to eat, secretly knowing he's about to die anyway. Leia apologizes for rambling and digs back into her meal, but Chloe turns serious and asks Takumi one thing. Takumi smiles, unbothered. After all, a dead man has nothing to fear. She stares him down and asks if he's clearly this strong, why play weak? She always thought power was for show, but her grandpa's defeat shattered her world. Her grandpa is the ancient dragon, an undefeated legend for millennia who just suffered his first defeat. Chloe reveals that since Takumi crushed him, her grandpa's become a terrified shut-in who fears humans. Takumi knows Alice caused this mess. What did she do to that dragon? Chloe rants, demanding to know why he'd ever hide power that insane. She roasts his frail body, stupid face, and tiny goblin aura. She calls him the weakest adventurer alive, but Leia snaps at her for pointing her chopsticks. Takumi smiles through tears as that savage roast actually stings. Leia smirks, asking the black lizard if she's seriously this clueless. Chloe snaps at the nickname while Takumi sobs, but Leia ignores them both. She figured out his secret the moment she accidentally hugged Takumi. She realized if Takumi ever unleashed his full power, the entire world would be destroyed. Leia trembles at his massive power, but Takumi's internally panicking he has no clue what she's sensing. She reveals her past, claiming she mastered every secret clan technique as a child. Her brutal training taught her to withstand any physical pain imaginable. She turns bright red, admitting that since touching Takumi, her heart wants to stop racing and the memory alone makes her overheat. A tiny touch nearly killed her. She's mistaking a massive crush for a death ray. Chloe mocks Rey's terrifying power, but Takumi says it sounds more like a deadly. Leia ignores him and lectures the dragon, claiming Takumi only holds back against weaklings, and his tears are pure pity. Takumi screams she's wrong, but he needs a perfect answer fast or he's dead meat. He shifts gears instantly, smirking as he tells Leia she's right, acting like it was his plan all along. He nails the act, but inside he's sobbing at the joke he's become just to survive. Takumi's a sobbing mess, wondering if his grandpa felt this pathetic fighting dragons. Chloe glares, but she's trembling. She knows there's no way to win, so she leaps into the air, screaming that the fight isn't over yet. Rumors explode he dropped the black dragon without even touching it. Chloe points back and screams she's coming for a rematch. She vanishes skyward. Takumi watches, praying she never returns. Leia shoves him out of the kitchen, taking over the cleanup so he can rest. It's pitch black, so Takumi sends her home. The mountain roads are too dangerous at night. They stare in confusion. He asks why she's still here, and she's shocked he'd even ask. Blushing, she explains Alice's rule, disciples must live with their masters until training ends. Leia drops a bombshell she's moving in, and she's dead serious. Takumi panics, yelling no, he can do that with a girl her age. He puts his foot down, ordering her home tonight to return tomorrow. Remembering her heart palpitations, he walks her home and stops at the clinic for a checkup. Leia pouts and looks away, hating the idea and flatly refusing to go. She insists his power is causing strange body changes she's never felt before. Takumi stays deadpan, certain her feelings aren't his fault. Leia blushes hard, claiming this chest pain is actually power surging. She's about to get way stronger. Takumi pictures a mushroom cloud, terrified this surging power will make her spontaneously explode. He wags his finger, lecturing her that a single girl can live with an old man. Takumi panics, shouting for her to drop the dagger and stop trying to gut herself. Leia readies her blade, declaring her lifelong training makes gender irrelevant. Fed up with the drama, Takumi lets her stay as long as she stops trying to off herself. Leia beams, thanking him with a massive smile. She lunges but freezes instantly, apologizing for nearly breaking the no-touching rule in her excitement. Takumi plays it cool, warning her to be more careful next time. He watches her skip away, nervously begging her not to wreck the place as she settles in. Blushing hard, Leia whispers, Takumi is terrifying, his power just surged into her without a single touch. She grips her chest, overwhelmed, her heart's racing so fast it's about to burst from the energy. Takumi plays the wise master, lecturing her control this tiny power, or forget about being a warrior. She flips out again, frantically apologizing for the mistake like it's a total disaster. Done with the drama, Takumi sits down and calls it a night. He points, splitting the room into her territory and his. Leia's bummed by the distance and asks to sleep right next to him. She gasps, covering her mouth as a massive realization hits. She claims sleeping next to him would break her. His power is just too much to handle. She grins like she cracked the code, asking if that's the real reason he split them up. Takumi stays stone-faced and confirms she's 100 right. He lies down, knowing he's the one who'll break from pure nerves. He admits he can handle sleeping next to a girl with his zero experience. Leia lies awake, whispering that just living together is already way too intense. She turns beet red, realizing she's way over her head. Takumi wakes up yawning, but Leia's already up and greeting him. Takumi spots her at the door with a knife and nervously asks what's going on. She points to a bucket of peeled potatoes too hyped to sleep. She's been training since dawn. Takumi snaps at this rate, they'll starve before winter ends. To save supplies, he drops a strict rule she can only peel 1 potato a day. Leia's crushed, questioning the training until she stops cold. It finally clicks. She turns back grinning, certain her free time is the real training. Takumi's sweating bullets but plays it cool, lying to her face that she nailed his plan. Takumi stares at the peels, whining about the total waste. He'll crush them into potato soup later. A hand grips a sword. Takumi ignores them, scavenging floor scraps because he's too broke to waste a single bite. Leia screams in a fury, "You bastard! What do you think you were doing?" And she thrusts with insane speed, the blade blurring past Takumi's face before he can blink. Takumi freezes, sure she's sick of her broke master scrounging for potato scraps. He's sweating bullets, sensing death 100 times a day just living with her. A polite voice interrupts. "Good morning, Takumi Dono." Takumi turns, completely baffled. Leia targets an intruder, screaming at him for returning right after Takumi spared him. "Enough talk!" She yells for Takumi to finish him off for good. Takumi begs Leia to chill. With a blade inches from his nose, he realizes the intruder isn't here for a fight. Chloe agrees instantly, calling him Takumi Dono, and revealing she traveled all this way just to deliver a report. She drops to one knee with a bombshell. The entire dragon tribe now serves Takumi. Takumi sweats in confusion as Chloe declares him their new dragon king. Leia connects the dots. Her master already raised the world's strongest disciple. He just took an even stronger grand disciple as his student, but he's still not satisfied. Now he's the Dragon King, and her godhood delusions are skyrocketing. Takumi's soul is leaving his body as his dreams of a quiet life loudly shatter into pieces. Reluctant leader, misunderstood power. The legend begins. But elsewhere, a shadowed armored figure whispers Takumi's name. His nightmares just beginning. Flashback. An armored knight looms over Takumi and drops the hammer he's officially kicked out of the party. Today, Takumi pales and sweats as the news hits, stammering a confused, "Why because?" He never saw this coming. His face goes blank with shock. Deep down, he knew the truth. He was always just a burden to the team. He thinks it's a miracle they kept a talentless guy like him in the party this long. Meet the squad he's leaving behind: Rick the warrior and Batsu the thief. Sasha the priestess looks worried, but the group's true heavyweight. This mysterious woman's back is turned, but her massive aura screams she's the boss. Takumi accepts his fate without a fight. He's packing his bags and leaving tonight. She screams in his face, shuts him down, and orders him out immediately. Takumi tries one last kindness, asking to cook a final meal before he leaves. Sasha breaks character, drooling as she admits it sounds delicious, so the armored girl shuts him down, screaming in his face to get out now. Takumi doesn't fight back. He just thanks them for everything. He vanishes into the dark, glancing back one last time to say, "Protect Alice." He leaves, flashing back to a gentle head pat, a rare moment of kindness. Rick stops him, telling Takumi to ditch the collar. It belongs to the old hack. Takumi nods and immediately starts undoing his neck clasp. Crazy light blasts on contact. Rick realizes the hag was listening. It's a teleport trap. Magic surges. Rick panics, screaming she's finally back. The party charges. Rick kicks Takumi flying while an ally yells to buy time. Rick keeps up the act, screaming at Takumi to hurry up and get out. Sasha joins in, screaming for him to leave. He's just not built for adventuring. Takumi's launched by the kick, wondering what the hell just happened mid-air. He knows it's a setup. Their insults sound robotic, like they're just reading bad lines. He sees through the act and hunts for their real goal. Reality hits hard. Looking back, his friends' cruel words finally make sense. He remembers Rick telling the hag he banished Takumi alone, begging for his freedom. He remembers Sasha begging her Takumi was at his limit, and her healing couldn't save him. Finally, Batsu called him history's weakest, tricking the old hag into booting Takumi from their elite party. The witch barges in furious, declaring Takumi belongs to Nirohachi and he's staying forever. She warns the party to stay back. They were no match for Nirohachi, as Takumi watches on in tears. He snaps, seeing his friends risk their lives to shield him from this monster. Hurtling back, he recalls their claim they're fine without him. But now, he knows the truth. They called him dead weight to save him, but he slams into the ground. He skids to a halt, gritting his teeth that mean act was just a setup for his escape. The witch mocks the party, claiming they only see surface power and know nothing about the real Takumi. She asks why Alice, with all that insane power, was so obsessed with Takumi. Rick tells Takumi to run while they stall. Sasha praises his cooking and they spin around, screaming for him to run and never look back. The witch notices he's gone and looks baffled, asking where Takumi went. Rick lies, blaming Nirohachi's bullying for Takumi's escape. Sasha backs him, calling her a monster and demanding they take the old hag down. Panicking, she reaches out and begs them to wait, trying to mention Alice. She spirals, insisting Nirohachi isn't the bad guy while fighting back tears. Zero effect. She collapses right there, sobbing like a giant baby. Takumi seizes the opening, yells thanks, and keeps running for his life. The witch snaps, lunging forward and screaming his name with a crazed look. She vows to find him no matter where he hides. Flash forward to the present high in the quiet mountains where Takumi's back to his routine, cooking over the fire as Chloe and Leia wait. Chloe explains the dragon hierarchy. Every race has a king, but her grandfather ruled them all from the top. Grandpa retired after fighting Takumi, so her dad took over. Takumi just casually whisks eggs in the back. Chloe reveals her dad saw Takumi crush the grandpa, forcing a wild decision about his future. He announced he's handing the Dragon King title straight to him. Leia ignores the history lesson, praising Takumi's god-tier salt and egg timing like a miracle. Drooling, she tells him she can't hold back, she needs to eat right now, but Takumi shuts her down, dead serious. It's not ready. She has to wait. He demands patience for the perfect soft-boiled egg, treating this soup like a life-or-death mission. Chloe skips the food talk, admitting she hated her dad handing the throne to a random human. She's hunting Takumi to test his worth, but he's currently panicking over eggs. Chloe snaps, asking if anyone's even listening while Takumi cooks, and Leia laughs, admits she's not listening, and calls her a black lizard, saying now isn't the time. Chloe shouts her report, but even when Takumi says he heard, she screams he's ignoring her. Takumi cuts the drama. Breakfast is ready, shut up and eat. Leia skips permission and dives in, humming with delight. Eyes sparkling, she blushes and stammers to Takumi that the soup is delicious. She's losing it. The egg melts instantly and the flavor is driving her crazy. Chloe ditches the food and gets serious. Dragons only follow the strong. She notes he could have crushed her grandpa back then, but he didn't show off at all. Takumi's humble life revealed the Dragon Clan's future. Chloe drops to her knees, begging him to lead the dragon tribe as their king. Takumi looks dead inside. This isn't an honor. It's a straight-up nightmare. Sweating bullets and panicking, he screams, "It's impossible." He needs to say no without dying. Leia steps in with a smug grin, telling Black Lizard to back off. She's got this. She smirks, revealing Takumi never actually rejected the throne, he's just keeping quiet. Chloe beams, asking if it's true, while Takumi panics in the back, screaming no on loop. Leia brushes him off, telling Chloe the timing's just wrong and leaving Takumi totally baffled. Chloe snaps, demanding to know exactly what she means and when it happens. Leia snaps back that it's obvious, like she's planned this whole thing out. She vows it happens after they conquer the world and build his throne, while Takumi laughs nervously. Leia speaks for him, claiming Takumi won't settle for just being Dragon King. She turns with a massive grin, asking him to back her up. Takumi snaps, screaming she has no clue what he's actually thinking. Confused by the outburst, Chloe calls from outside, asking if she guessed wrong. Takumi stands his ground. He's not budging, and he rejects being a perfect king. He smiles and apologizes to Chloe, but refuses he's already got everything he wants right here. The mountain provides everything he needs to survive. He slides her a bowl and tells her to eat, claiming life is just the sun, earth, and food. One bite and Chloe melts, making a weird noise as the flavor hits her full force. Warmth wraps her body as Leia smugly asks if the black lizard finally gets it. Chloe finally admits the Dragon King title is just dead weight. He's officially their master, but she won't force him to lead. She begs him to remember he commands the dragon tribe now. Takumi sighs and says he'll think about it. Now he's stuck with a disciple and an entire army. He weeps comically, wondering how his quiet life became a total disaster. He snaps back, asking how Leia and Chloe even found his house because he stops dead, realizing nobody knows where he's hiding. Leia reveals Alice can see his every move just by closing her eyes and thinking of him. Takumi snaps. A magical remote viewing stalker is pure terror. Ignoring the horror, he asks Chloe how she even found this place. Chloe simply hit the guild and asked where the top-ranked ranker was hiding. Takumi breaks a sweat, wondering if the guild really sold him out. She gets nothing. They refuse to talk and keep acting cheeky. Takumi clutches his chest and sighs. The system finally worked, but Chloe reveals someone else at the guild is looking for him too. She reveals the stranger had his gear and she flashes their bell, revealing she tracked his scent straight to him. As Go with Takumi spots the bell and pales, he knows exactly who it belongs to. Wait, let's look at the original again. Tak. He screams at Chloe to grab that thing and get home now. He screams at her to chuck the bell before it's too late. Chloe's baffled by his panic and asks why he's suddenly acting so weird. The bell erupts with magic, slamming Takumi to the floor as he shields his head. A voice calls Takumi from the light, sounding dead serious. Waiting these 10 years felt longer than living for thousands. Leia shields her eyes. Frozen in shock, she knows exactly who just showed up. The ex-rank 1 ranker and immortal elf mage steps from the light. Meet great sage Nirohachi, looking absolutely terrifying. She spots Alice's student Leia and the dragon's granddaughter Chloe, while Takumi cowers behind them. Nirohachi eyes the girls, asking Takumi if this is his new squad. Leia locks in, staring her down and demanding her true goal. Nirohachi smiles, reminding him she's never leaving Takumi again. Leia spins around, baffled, asking what that even means. The great sage smirks, confirming it's exactly what it sounds like. She spells it out she's sticking by Takumi's side anytime, anywhere. Leia snaps, screaming about bathroom privacy and where she's gonna sleep. Nirohachi hugs herself, blushing as she insists they'll do it all together. Leia snaps, draws her blade, and asks Takumi if she can mince the great sage. Nirohachi doesn't flinch, looking terrifying as she says cutting her down sounds interesting. Chloe jumps in, warning that 4 people in this tiny cave is way too cramped. Takumi and Leia whirl around, screaming at the dragon girl for an explanation. Chloe asks Leia if she's staying forever, then drops a bombshell. Takumi is the next Dragon King. She flashes a heart sign, declaring she and Takumi must get married immediately for this to work. Nirohachi laughs it off, telling them she doesn't care how many wives get involved. Chloe's hyped someone finally gets it. Her grandpa told her about the sage, and now she's ready to team up. Takumi's freaking out this sudden harem is way too much pressure for a virgin. Leia's done talking. She draws her blade to kill everyone, forcing a panicked Takumi to stop her. Tension spikes as Takumi calls Nirohachi, and she turns with full focus. Looking serious, he tells her she has to leave. She can stay because he has no master, but she's the one who taught him the adventuring basics. Takumi smiles. History aside, he just wants a quiet life in these mountains. Takumi's confident their long history means Nirohachi gets him perfectly. Nirohachi lets out a small chuckle. She cracks her knuckles with a creepy grin, asking Takumi if he's really ready to defy her. Takumi freezes. She missed the point and thinks he's picking a fight. Leia praises his resolve, admitting she'd have slaughtered everyone and herself if he'd let the witch stay. Exhausted, Takumi begs her to shut up and stop overcomplicating things. Nirohachi erupts in a dark aura, asking Takumi if he's ready for the fate of those who defy her. He's shaking in pure terror, certain he's about to wet himself. Leia stops him cold, shouting for him to wait as she steps up, sensing his battle shivers, and tells him to let her handle this. Leia's happy misunderstanding is stressing Takumi out. She steps up to the witch, declaring Takumi's disciple is her opponent. Intrigued by Leia's training under Alice and Takumi, Nirohachi agrees to take her on. Takumi spots Chloe doing squats and asks what she's doing. Chloe's prepping to fight the winner, leaving Takumi completely baffled. She asks if it's a battle royale, but Takumi screams she's wrong. He turns back, yelling that killing S-Band keep this a safe practice match. Leia ignores him and locks in, announcing her attack. Chloe panics, realizing the girl is using god possession. Nirohachi grins like a maniac, knowing Leia hosts a god. She can finally go all out. Leia lunges like a maniac to slice the witch in half. Takumi steps in, shuts Nirohachi down, and stops the fight cold. Nirohachi asks if he's interrupting a victory kiss. Ignoring the joke, he says they can stay together forever, but she's welcome back any time. He'll wear the bell like old times, begging her to just go home. She smiles and lets it slide as a favor. Before leaving, she drops a specific warning. She warns Leia's power mimics Alice's but won't last. Takumi already knows. She starts to judge his personality but lets it slide. She forces Chloe home, despite the dragon girl wanting to stay with Takumi. Dragged skyward, the dragon girl screams at the witch to stop touching her sensitive horns. With them gone, Takumi checks on Leia. She groans, but she crushes him in a hug, snapping his bones as he screams for his life. She's sobbing and apologizing, ignoring that she's wrecking his body. He chokes out a fine, acting tough despite the obvious pain. He lifts his limp, broken arm, telling her not to worry that Witch is a great sage, making her impossible to beat. Leia rejects the comfort, shaking with frustration as she admits she was just too immature. She admits Nirohachi's trash talk got in her head and threw her off mid-fight. She tells Takumi the witch exposed a past hidden even from Alice. Takumi blanks out, realizing a massive flashback is about to hit. Takumi looks serious, but he's panicking over his rice harvest. He needs this talk over, fast. Leia looks up teary-eyed, ready to spill her story, but Takumi strikes a confident pose, cutting her off. He already knows everything. Leia gasps. He read her entire tragic past with just one look, so Takumi plays along, shoulders his hoe, and confirms the story. He bails, hyped he saved time by dodging a massive trauma dump. Hiking to the mountains, Leia asks how to finally escape that pass. Takumi drops some lazy advice, telling her to just stop worrying. He claims nature makes the past feel small, trying to sound deep. Leia totally misreads him. Stunned, he'd call her trauma-tiny after hearing the truth. Takumi panics, blabbing about the wind erasing the past while totally winging it. Leia stares in awe, but her gaze triggers Takumi's memories. He flashes back to finding young Alice and his struggle to raise her right. Being the weakest, he knew staying by her side only dragged everyone down. He finally admits it, he didn't quit adventuring just to escape Nirohachi. He was too weak to stand by Alice anymore without feeling like a burden. He remembers Nirohachi's warning his resemblance to Alice one to last. Let's try. He considers training one more time to fix his body and the situation. Let's try. He thinks about training again to fix his body and set things right. 10 years retired and his body's trashed. Now even a goblin could end him. He'll play the master until Leia's satisfied and finally leaves. Takumi realizes he has nothing to teach Leia's getting stronger all on her own. For now, he'll commit to the bit and act like a decent master. Leia beams, vowing to win next time after getting all those hugs. Fists clenched, she's now even stronger than her god mode. Takumi's rattled by her hype and tells her to chill and take it slow. Nirohachi will keep coming. He warns her to hold back next time. Leia roars her agreement, her voice echoing across the quiet fields. Moments over, and Takumi's annoyed Nirohachi is back on his mind. He expects daily visits, but he's begging for a break once a week is plenty. The witch smirks, asking if Alice finally showed up. Nirohachi's face darkens as she vows to eliminate anyone who gets near Takumi. She stares her down and calls out her intense expression. Nirohachi smiles, admitting she's making the exact same face. Caught off guard, she covers her mouth and admits Nirohachi is right. Flashback to their childhood. Takumi buys Nirohachi his first sword. Alice kept the weapon Takumi left behind years ago. The twist. Despite her sword. Saint title, Alice isn't a swordsman at all. She just punches, but her strike is stronger than any attack in the world. Magic fails on Alice, so Nirohachi channels it inward to boost her physical stats. She squares up and issues a challenge. It's finally time to throw down. Nirohachi charges full power as Alice unleashes a massive strike. Uruhachi screams, "No tricks, just a head-on brawl is the punchiest. One more check." Nirohachi yells for a head-on fight. No. Refusing to dodge, she pours every ounce of power into this one moment. Alice's fist slams Nirohachi's face, rattling the entire room. Nirohachi flies back, slamming deep into the chamber's stone wall. She collapses in shock. It's insane, he just wiped out her entire magic supply. Battered and gasping, she asks Alice to finish the job, but Alice refuses. She just needs to keep Nirohachi away from Takumi for a while. She clenches her fist. That's enough. Point made, loud and clear. Nero admits she's right. Her magic is drained, and she can't even teleport out. Nirohachi eyes the castle and quits, playing dead until she heals. She looks up with one question: why did Alice send Leia to Takumi? Alice won't explain, so Nirohachi uses magic to read her mind on the spot. Tapping in, she loses it, overwhelmed by the sheer force of Alice's emotions. She's terrified by the raw emotion behind his calm mask. Then she sees the truth. Nirohachi realizes Alice lived her whole life just for Takumi. But it gets even. She sees Alice is convinced Takumi is way stronger, treating it like an absolute fact. Nirohachi tears up, finally admitting she gets where Alice is coming from. Alice walks off, leaving Nirohachi to realize everyone's born with a unique soul container. Others possess massive vessels, storing fortunes, kingdoms, or even the entire world. Nirohachi eyes the overflowing cup, realizing even the biggest souls can handle girls as intense as her and Alice. She knows only Takumi can handle their mess. He's the only one built for it. She remembers Takumi's idiot grin, asking if this training would finally make him strong. She screams for him to stop, warning that he'll die if he keeps going. Nirohachi snaps back, warning Alice not to look down on her. She's no ordinary opponent. She powers up, revealing her true name, Chilt, the great sage and clan head. She screams Takumi belongs to her people and she's not letting go, but she's cut short. Mid-sentence, a massive gut punch folds her, silencing her instantly. Leia misreads the room and sprints off for a milk run. Takumi panics and shuts her down, insisting he go alone while she stays to guard the house. Leia won't let him do the grunt work, so she summons a speed god to sprint there instantly. Takumi panics, waving his arms and yelling for her to act normal and ditch the powers. He scribbles a list, grab 2 liters of milk, and use the spare change for a cheap sword and shield. Leia vows to die for her first errand, but Takumi tells her to chill. Dying isn't part of the job. It's a straight shot to town. She'll be back by noon, so he trusts her. Leia returns hauling a massive live cow with Alice in tow, leaving Takumi wondering how it came to this. He stares at her grin, wondering why she brought back the whole animal instead of just the milk. He spots a sword in her gear way beyond the budget he gave her. He panics as the weapon's evil aura screams pure trouble. It gets worse. He spots something that freezes him in his tracks. Takumi stares at the massive object on her back, sweating bullets. Is that thing really a shield? Leia smiles like everything's fine, confirming it's definitely not a shield. Takumi collapses defeated, wondering how a simple milk run turned into this disaster. He asks the elf girl her name. Tapping her chin, she says it's Chiharu. He double-checks the name and she claps happily. Yep, she's Chiharu. Leia says the kid was found with amnesia. Her parents and past, a total mystery. The kid called Leia's name as she passed. Sensing a connection, Leia took her in. Takumi freaks out, demanding to know if Leia seriously doesn't recognize the kid. Leia claims they've never met, but the girl looks strangely familiar. The kid points right at his face and shouts his name. She knows exactly who he is. Takumi faces the mystery kid, sweating as he asks if she really knows him. Chiharu throws her hands up, cheering that she knows both him and Leia. Leia gasps, eyes wide as a wild idea hits. She spins to Takumi, asking if this kid is... Future daughter Leia is blushing hard while Chiharu stands there looking smug. Leia spirals, rambling that the kid's here to rewrite a dark future where they're married. Takumi shields Chiharu's eyes, telling her good kids shouldn't look at the crazy lady. Ignoring Leia's breakdown, he heads off to milk the cow and make potato soup. But beside the beast, he stops and asks Leia why she brought a whole cow home instead of just buying milk. Leia went for milk, wiped out a goblin raid, and scored a whole cow as a reward. Takumi praises her, imagining she just beat some weaklings with a stick, totally underestimating her real feat. Leia laughs. But the flashback reveals she didn't just fight a few guys, she annihilated a massive goblin army. She boasts that crushing hundreds as his disciple makes the credit all his. Takumi laughs it off, convinced she's just exaggerating about beating a few weaklings. He skips the hero talk and serves a fancy bowl of chilled potato soup. He smiles at the elf, telling her not to rush. He made plenty for seconds. Chiharu's obsessed, stuffing her face and shouting that the potatoes are carrying the whole dish. Leia's stunned. She's tearing up over the texture, praising how the creamy soup still feels like real potatoes. Watching them by the hearth, she smiles. They look just like a real family. She snaps back to her delusions, whispering that Chiharu is definitely their child from the future. Takumi says humans can have elf babies, but Chiharu just sparkles, happy to call them mom and dad. Leia smirks, noting Chiharu's finally accepted the family dynamic. Takumi rejects it all. He's a virgin losing his mind over an instant wife and kid. So, desperate, he pivots to Leia's expensive new sword, asking if she actually had the cash for it. Leia got it cheap. No one's mastered this blade in ages, so it just drifted into this rural town. Takumi asks what she means, and she reveals the name, the Demon Sword Soul Eater. Takumi panics as she reveals the blade drains power and devours the wielder's soul. Takumi freezes in horror. His hunch was right. This blade is cursed. It's no Takuma caliber like Alice's supposed gift, but Leia still thinks it's a solid blade. Takumi ignores the praise and snaps around, screaming, "What the hell is a Takumi caliber?" Alice renamed his old sword from Nirohachi to the ridiculous Excalibur Mass Immune Takuma caliber. Takumi's cheap gear somehow got hyped into one of the world's 3 holy swords. Focusing on the now, he draws the Soul Eater and asks Leia if she's ever used it. So, she collapses, admitting she tested it at the shop. It drained her power instantly, nearly killing her. Takumi warns it's too dangerous and orders her to return it now, but Leia smiles it off, certain Takumi can handle the curse. That night, Chiharu calls him, and Takumi asks if she's already sleepy. She warns him they've arrived, monsters have the house surrounded. A massive goblin horde swarms them, staring with lethal intensity. Leia screams his name as Takumi realizes the horrifying truth they were followed home. He orders Leia to fix her mess and she just apologizes. Leia drops a bombshell. The magic sword drained her dry, leaving her powerless, and Takumi totally doomed. Outside, the goblin army's roar is closing in fast. Takumi plays it cool, tells Leia to watch, and she happily hands over the cursed weapon. He squares up, giving a final order if he dies, grab Chiharu and run. He grips the handle and his face twists. Something's wrong. He panics, screaming as the weapon drains his power dry. It gets wilder, a voice rings in his head, so he realizes the sword is sentient, and it's trying to suck him dry. Takumi goes all in, screaming for the sword to take his soul to save his friends. The sword says it's got 0 power left, leaving Takumi completely baffled. Takumi freezes while the sword insists it's impossible. This ancient magic sword has never met a human with 0 power. Leia watches in awe. Stunned, he can wield the Soul Eater so calmly. She realizes his power is infinite. Even a legendary sword can drain it dry. Takumi agrees, but inside he's screaming she's dead wrong. Ignoring them, the sword snaps. Everyone in this world has a power vessel. Power builds from birth, so why is Takumi completely empty? Takumi awkwardly apologizes to thin air, admitting he's clueless and killing the vibe because Leia's confused. She can't hear the voice he's answering. Only he hears the sword, making him look like a weirdo talking to himself. The goblins stare and chatter nervously, completely clueless. Takumi notices them backing off, terrified of the magic sword's dark aura. Seizing the moment, he flashes a desperate grin and begs the magic sword to slay the goblins. The sword shuts him down for being powerless, and Takumi awkwardly admits it's right. The sword speaks up, revealing that little girl has insane power. It offers help for her energy. Takumi nervously asks it to hold back. The sword agrees, refusing to wreck the property. It'd be a total waste. Takumi's sold, and the deal is finalized on the spot. The sword demands a cleanup as dark energy orbs erupt around them. Takumi swings, unleashing the evil dragon. Dark, great flame bullet to wipe everything out. Takumi screams the attack, but the sword roasts him for being pure cringe, so the goblins can't even panic before the strike lands. A massive dark pillar erupts, vaporizing the forest and the goblins. Dust settles and Leia's hyped, but Takumi's barely standing. Leia claims his blank stare is actually the legendary state of nothingness required for the move. Takumi's sweating because she's dead wrong, but he plays it cool and says she nailed it. The sword whispers the job's done, demanding Takumi keep his promise. He quietly agrees as Leia rushes in. He gaslights her to fulfill the deal, mocking her for letting the sword drain her energy like a total rookie. Leia buys it instantly and apologizes, finally feeling their massive power gap. She screams that compared to Takumi's strength, her power is total trash. Takumi's weeping inside, knowing he's total trash, but he doubles down, forcing Leia into power-draining sword training on top of her potato chores. Leia bows in thanks for the extra training, while Takumi's crushed by guilt over his lies. The elf points ahead, warning Takumi that a massive horde remains. A massive monster horde crests the hill, staring them down. Takumi pales. This is no joke, they're completely outnumbered. He calls his weapon, but the magic sword says business hours are over. Takumi hits his limit and slumps, certain he's finished until suddenly, a massive dragon bursts through the trees, roaring, "It's a total nightmare!" Takumi snaps and screams as the dragon glares him down. The dragon roars over the battlefield, calling the goblins fools and demanding they realize who they're facing. The whole army hears the truth that man is Dragon King Takumi. Takumi stares up, sweating bullets. This massive beast is Chloe's dragon form. She shifts back to human to report a goblin army is invading the mountain, and she rushed right over. Takumi's baffled. Why all this chaos over a few ranch goblins? Chloe reveals the rumors Takumi soloed enough goblins to shake a nation. She warns the Goblin King is leading the army. Takumi realizes this is now total war. Chloe says the loyal dragons are intercepting, but the goblin swarm is too massive to stop. Takumi plays it cool, stammers his thanks, and says he understands. He knows he'd be swamped without them and feels grateful, but still refuses the Dragon King title. As dragons torch the forest, Chloe reports the only way to stop this is killing the Goblin King. She admits even the Dragon Clan's full power can't track him down. Takumi's confused, so Chloe reveals the rumor the Goblin King uses magic to shapeshift into anything. Leia jumps in with a huge grin, announcing she's fully charged and ready to roll. She suggests skipping the hassle and just wiping out every goblin in the area. Takumi and Chloe stare blankly as Takumi calls her out for just wanting an excuse to go wild. Leia panics, shouting he's wrong, but wastes no time. Activating God. Descent and summoning the Vermilion King proves she's itching for a fight. She snaps, screaming she'll kick every enemy into the dirt. She unleashes a massive blast, shattering the landscape and sending debris flying. Chloe asks where the Goblin King is hiding, while the king, disguised as a nearby grunt, nervously plays dumb. Ignoring the grunt, she asks Takumi if he senses anything suspicious. Takumi raises his blade, revealing the magic sword is actually talking super suspicious. Sweating bullets, he insists it's all a misunderstanding. Chloe instantly knows that voice. It's the evil dragon sealed in the sword, her clan's ultimate disgrace. The sword stops hiding, clicks its tongue, and admits its cover is blown. Chloe thinks Takumi's a beast for wielding a life-draining blade, but he's actually just shaking in terror. She spots the elf girl and asks about her, clearly recognizing the kid. Takumi screams, Chiharu isn't the Goblin King, but Chloe already knows she can see it's something new. Chiharu snaps, screaming at Chloe to shut up before her secret identity is blown. Leia's dragged braided kid Chiharu along for the ride. Chiharu's right there with the magic sword, but things go sideways when a massive blast rips the ground open, sending debris flying. Takumi screams Chloe's name in panic. Why is she attacking them? She looks down, impressed he's sharp enough for a human to survive that. The enemy leader steps forward, a handsome elf named Goblin King Jazrak. Hearing Jazrak's name, Takumi instantly breaks, muttering that it's all over. One look tells him the Goblin King is a beast, so tearfully he begs his magic sword to save him. The sword shuts down. It's once a day, and its shift is officially over. Jazrak smirks like he owns the place, asking Takumi if they're ready to start. Takumi freezes, sweating bullets, and stammers a broken English, "Nice to meet you." Flashback. The Goblin King's tale reveals he started as the weakest monster alive. Next to his massive tribe, this little guy was a pathetic weakling. In ancient times, a weakling like him should have died instantly. He's such a massive coward. His danger sense is light years ahead of everyone else. Strength could wait. He focused everything on staying alive. For 1,000 years, he lurked in the shadows, amassing power and knowledge. The goblin kept evolving, transforming. Mastering unbeatable magic, he stands today as the ultimate goblin king. Takumi realizes the never-give-up fairy tale isn't just a story, it's real life, and that living legend stands right before him. Jazrex claps and he smiles, moved by the story, even though he knows Takumi's just stalling for time. Takumi's sweating bullets, his stall tactic, just got instantly busted. The Goblin King leans in, admitting he's been curious about Takumi for a long time. He needs to see the man ranked as the universe's strongest adventurer. Takumi stammers it's no big deal, trying to brush it off. Jazrex isn't fooled. He ignites his magic, claiming his ancient arts can perfectly gauge his enemy's power. He's stunned. For the first time ever, his magic draws a blank he can't read. Takumi's power level at all. Takumi screams the truth. The reading's blank because his strength is 0. Jazrex ignores the stats, itching for a fight, while Takumi sobs to go home. Jazrex's eyes snap open. He senses a new threat. The fight is officially off. A dark blast erupts between them, shattering the ground and forcing them apart. Jazrex on edge. He barely sensed the strike, exactly the power he expects from a great sage. Chiharu storms in livid, telling the Goblin King to shut up and quit acting tough. Takumi asks about Nirohachi, but she shuts him down. No time to explain, they'll talk later. She dives in, screams wave gun, and fires a massive energy blast down. Jazrex blocks the barrage, recognizing Nirohachi's technique. Takumi watches from the sidelines, finally suspecting Chiharu and Nirohachi share a deep bond. Chiharu aims her finger gun and drops a cold bang. Takumi asks if the hit landed, but answers himself instantly. Nope. Jazrex sees Chiharu's spent and losing her form, making Takumi scream her name in a panic. He gets serious, declaring life is worthless if he runs and abandons a kid. He screams he's handling this solo no matter what. Suddenly, a strange pop rings out from his sword hilt. The sword talks, offering a special service to help him one last time. Takumi fires a massive blast. Jazrex blocks it one-handed, admitting the power is getting annoying. Chloe screams, caught in the blast, when Leia suddenly appears, announcing she's handled everything for Takumi. Smoke clears to reveal Leia standing guard as Takumi calls from behind. Jazrex shrugs, calling the whole thing a total waste of time. He tells Takumi he's a magnet for freaks first, a sage, now a dragon disciple and a demon sword. He stares at the moon through the cave's ceiling, bored by the outcome. He mutters about a sudden chill his instincts are screaming. He smirks at Takumi, admitting he has to crush everyone else to reach the universe's strongest. He adjusts his glove, calls it a hassle, and bails for the night. He spins dramatically, cape swooshing as he turns to leave. He's not finished. A massive energy blast rockets toward the group. Chloe spots the strike and braces herself, screaming that this guy's got serious nerve. Leia spots him and points to the cave, shouting that he's right there. Chloe demands to know his trick while Leia screams to hunt him down and end it. The girls bolt, but Takumi stays put. He's not chasing them. He's fine right where he is. It's tragic. As the dust settles, he asks if anyone really thinks he's that fast. He's standing alone when a voice behind him calls him terrifying. Jazrex steps from the shadows, telling Takumi he's the first to ever see through his final trick. Takumi panics. The team chased a decoy, leaving him solo against the boss and dead meat. Jazrex misreads the fear, throwing his hands up and admitting Takumi's on a whole new level. Hands raised, he tells Takumi to finish him off, admitting total defeat. Moonlight hits the silent battlefield. Takumi stands frozen, wondering why this keeps happening. The insane Goblin King deathmatch ends in a sudden, bizarre flash. His magic sword speaks up, asking if he's really sure about sparing the guy. Takumi brushes it off, telling the sword the enemy won to be back anyway. The sword calls him naive and doomed, then blushes and offers to protect her helpless master. Takumi asks if the sword just spoke, but she instantly snaps back, denying it. Goblins are history, but Takumi's still buried in Chiharu's mystery, the Dragon King, and Leia's training. He breaks a sweat as his list of unsolved cases keeps growing. He stares off, wondering about his fate, while the sword admires his dark, broody profile. Reality check. Takumi's legs are shaking so hard he's seconds from wetting his pants. Jazrek is broken. He's helpless against this guy and realizes escape was a fool's dream. Jazrek trembles. Facing humanity's strongest warrior, he completely breaks. Panicked that they've seen everything, he takes the only shameful way out. The king hits his knees, screaming for mercy and shaming himself just to survive. He looks up. Plan failed. A massive fist barrels toward his face. Leia slugs him mid-bow, screaming he's caused Takumi way too much trouble. The hit connects, blasting him skyward like a rocket. Leia drags back a beaten goblin, apologizing to Takumi for catching a fake. Takumi tells her not to worry. He made the guy swear never to return. She asks if he found the real body as a goblin flees for its life behind her. Takumi watches him bolt, noting the guy was bawling and apologizing. Leia praises him for spotting the real enemy while the others were fooled. She's totally sold, and she's shocked he let the Goblin King escape on purpose, especially since the monster powers up with every getaway. She says Takumi's daring the enemy to return stronger, acting like a total warrior. Takumi fakes a smile and admits she read his plan perfectly. But inside, he's totally lost and has no clue what hidden message he's even talking about. He praises the team and offers Chloe yesterday's potato soup. She joins them, but as they head inside, Chloe twitches and freezes, sensing something weird. She turns to him, dead serious, and calls his name. She apologizes, then asks him to hand over the magic sword. Takumi asks what happens if he hands it over. She stares him down, vowing to snap that thing in half bare-handed. Sounds intense. Takumi breaks a sweat and demands the full story. Chloe flashes back to the Dragon Clan's legendary genius. This dragon's talent is so massive it'll eventually surpass the ancient dragon. Everyone hyped him as the next Dragon King candidate. Takumi listens, but he's over it. The story's dragging and his soup is getting cold. Chloe rants that the genius got cocky and started making stupid moves. Soon it became an evil dragon, lost its name, and was banished from the clan forever. Takumi eyes his weapon, muttering evil dragon to himself. The sword cuts in, claiming it's not evil, just a massive misunderstanding. Chloe ignores the voice, explaining how the petty exiled dragon picked daily fights with the clan. Fed up with the harassment, the clan sealed the dragon into a demon sword to shut it up. The sword sweats, claiming it remembers nothing, and Takumi realizes his blade is definitely talking. Chloe points at the blade and drops a bombshell that dragon is her older sister, Karna. Takumi snaps, leaping back and screaming sister in total shock. Chloe doubles down, confirming the demon sword Karna is her shameful older sister. The sword casually confirms it Chloe is her little sister. Takumi's worried will Chloe really snap the sword despite being family. Chloe reveals her sealed sister is absorbing power to resurrect herself. Chloe locks in, dead set on stopping that resurrection. Takumi asks if reviving her sister is really that bad, and she warns it's a disaster, certain her sister will dive right back into evil. Takumi grips the hilt and demands the truth from the blade. Karna shuts it down, swearing off evil and apologizing to Kuchan. Baffled, Chloe asks Takumi if he's really talking to his sword. He confirms that Chloe can hear her sister's voice at all. She says only the sword's true master hears it, making him the only one. Curious, she asks if the sword is talking about her. Takumi relays her message exactly. She's reflecting and sorry to Kuchan. Chloe mutters her sister's nickname, rattled by the sword's sudden apology. She doesn't trust this, but since Takumi's holding the sword, she lets it slide. She heads out, certain he's strong enough to punish the sword if it turns evil. Takumi watches her leave, sweating bullets. No way he could pull that off. Chiharu pokes and squishes his cheeks, calling his name for attention, so he eyes a nearby letter, still curious about the Goblin King and Chiharu's secret. But he won't rush it. Whoever she is, she's cute right now, and that's good enough for him. He grabs the envelope and rips it open to see what's inside. He spots the header, a formal message for the top 10 adventurers. The Ancestor Demon King is back, and the guild is calling an emergency meeting for the top 10 right now. Takumi ignores the guild's scary letter and hides it. It's nap time, so he's pretending he never saw it. He switches gears to the good stuff, mushroom and chicken meatball hot pot for lunch. He turns to the now awake Chiharu, praising the meal and confirming she gathered the mushrooms. Chiharu beams, proudly bragging she picked them all herself. His sword pipes up, calling the food tasty and asking for a splash of broth on its blade later. Takumi shuts it down instantly. Cleaning a sticky sword is a total pain. 3 days post-Goblin King raid, life's back to normal as he dishes out soup. Over soup, Takumi notes it's been ages since they've had a quiet afternoon together. Suddenly, a hand clamps onto his shoulder from behind. A long, bearded old man appears, asking the group for a bowl too. Leia snaps into a stance, grabs her blade, and demands the intruder identify himself. The old man ignores her, just chewing and mumbling about the taste. He asks about the dish, instantly spotting the crushed chicken cartilage. This is Barbaroi Saza, chairman of the Adventurer S-Guild. Chiharu panics. This is the one guy Nirohachi swore she'd never fight. Takumi hits chef mode, explaining he mixed crushed lotus root with cartilage and potato starch to thicken the broth. He flashes a nervous grin, promising the chairman he'll love the texture. Barbaroi doesn't look up, slurping loudly and muttering about how tasty the soup is. Alice and the dragon are stronger, but Barbaroi is the last person you'd ever want to face because Takumi recognizes this style, the same one that terrified even the great sage Nirohachi. His whole strategy is just sucker-punching people. Simple but nasty, use any trick to catch them off guard and look weak and harmless. Mask your energy completely, but explode with power in that split second to drop them in one hit. Chiharu stares in shock, muttering about the old man while he just keeps eating. Barbaroi reads the room, laughs off their hate, and offers candy like a sweet grandpa. Takumi confirms the rumors Barbaroi looks so frail, even he could take him. The chairman pivots to the 10 Greats' latest notice, but Takumi admits he missed it. Barbaroi whispers, "I see," his friendly warmth vanishing instantly. Suddenly, he kicks the boiling soup at them, saying it can't be helped. Leia draws her blade with a shout, parrying the scalding blast. Leia yells for calm, calling it a provocation, while Chiharu jumps to shield Takumi. Roy cackles like a madman, apologizing and admitting the attack was just a test. He turns serious. He tried to gauge Takumi, but since he didn't even flinch, his power is bottomless. Feeding the fire, he mocks the chairman for being too small to ever measure Takumi. Takumi's dying inside. He didn't stand firm because he's strong. He was just too terrified to move a muscle. The chairman gets to business. It's a bad look for the top hero to skip the top 10 meeting. He scrapped the guild HQ meeting and moved the whole thing here. Takumi freezes, staring blankly with a confused grunt as the truth sinks in. Barbaroi says the others are arriving any second and skips the tea. He gestures to a shadow behind him, leaving the event's grunt work to his subordinate. Takumi quits the guild. He was retiring anyway, so he has zero regrets. Leia's hyped, shouting as Takumi ditches the #1 seat instantly. His mindset is insane. She insists titles are useless. He's the strongest in the universe, and to her, that's an absolute fact. Barbaroi gets it. He knows Takumi only hit the guild to scrub his name from the rankings. Takumi says telling the chairman directly saves him a trip. It's perfect, but Barbaroi ignores the attitude and asks about the letter, citing the Demon King's revival as the reason for this meeting. The old man reveals they can define the Demon King, even though they've known he's been back for a decade. 2 fingers up. He warns the enemy is hiding their power. That's all the intel they've got. Takumi's annoyed. What do demons have to do with him quitting the guild? Barbaroi ignores the question, addressing him only as the rank 1 adventurer. Barbaroi drops a bombshell. The guild thinks Takumi is the next Demon King. Takumi snaps. Is he really the villain over a massive misunderstanding? Barbaroi ignores the panic, declares the talk over, and dumps the rest on his secretary. A woman in glasses steps up. Meet Lyndon, Chairman Barbaroi's secretary. She tells Takumi to remember her face, then starts flexing because she instantly builds a massive hall. Takumi begs them to stop building at his house, but the venue is already finished. Next morning, high-rank adventurers swarm the mountains one by one. Noon hits, everyone's here, and Lyndon's just sipping tea like it's totally normal, while Takumi stands outside miserable, begging them to stop using his house as a base for this madness, but it's too late. The table's set, and Takumi's trapped by the heavy hitters. Rank 0. Chairman Barbaroi Saza kicks off the meeting, and beside him, rank 1. Takumi is sweating bullets. Goblin King Jastrick takes rank 2, subbing for Alice. Rank 3. Little Chiharu waves, subbing for Nirohachi. Rank 4, Hero End is totally passed out. To his right is rank 5, the half-machine Machina. Rank 6 is the beast man Zaha, grinning like a maniac, followed by Rank 700, Dagon, and stealthy Rank 8, Yoru. Finally, Leia takes her seat as the Rank 9 God Descender. Rounding out the squad, Rank 10, Silent Shield Rick. Barbaroi gets straight to business, officially opening the 10 Greats meeting. He announces the plan: resurrect the ancestor Demon King and deal with the prime suspect, Takumi. He tells everyone to speak their minds, no holding back. Takumi breaks into a sweat. He realizes the whole meeting assumes he's the Demon King candidate. The Beastman interrupts, calling the meeting a sham. He says they should just kill the guy and be done. Rank 6. Zaha casually flicks a coin while suggesting murder. Takumi's losing it, terrified from the opening bell. Barbaroi shuts him down, telling Zaha they need hard proof first. Annoyed, Zaha calls it a drag. He suggests killing him now, they can always apologize later. Mid-argument, a hand shoots up. Someone has a question. Rank 8 Ninja Yoru chimes in, having heard all about Takumi's recent chaos. Everyone's listening, even Rank 7 Super Hunter Dagon, who's watching with a sharp eye. Yoru drops the facts. Leia's a disciple, and Takumi repelled the Black Dragon without even touching it. He notes Takumi crushed Sage Nirohachi and the Goblin King's army, then asks if he's wrong. Takumi's sweating bullets because it's all true. He might actually be the Demon King. His sword cuts in, demanding credit for her debut and ordering Takun to set them straight. Takumi begs the weapon to shut up before she makes things worse. Yoru ignores the outburst and adds one last critical item to the list. He reveals that after Nirohachi retreated, Takumi's disciple Alice attacked, leaving her for dead. Takumi's stunned she's dead, but Yoru calls his bluff. He's the one who ordered it. Chiharu, the great sage's proxy, suddenly speaks up to ask about Nirohachi. Takumi looks over in pure panic, terrified of what's coming. Chiharu smiles, telling everyone Nirohachi is fine and there's nothing to worry about. Rank 4 hero. End ignores her smile, demanding why a kid is in the great sage's seat. Barbaroi strokes his beard. It's more than business. He sensed Nirohachi's aura on her. Looking suspicious, he drops a theory she's Takumi and Nirohachi's secret child. Leia freaks out, but Takumi tells her to chill. It's impossible, he's never been with anyone. Hero kills the drama with a hand raise, claiming he's got more intel. Rank 5. Cyborg Machina watches silently as he readies another bomb. 3 days after the Goblin King's defeat, Takumi meets Alice in secret. Disguised as a human, Goblin King Jazrek demands an explanation for the secret meeting, calling Takumi Demon King to his face. Takumi panics, pointing and begging him to clear the air, but Jazrek just smirks, loving the drama. Jazrek pulls a scroll, revealing a letter straight from Alice. He reads it and it's a disaster. Alice rambles about being his disciple, then his lover, leaving in every messy mistake. It's just pages of obsessive nonsense. Takumi stares blankly, dead-eyed and crushed by the letter's chaotic cringe. Jazrek reads Alice's apology for not visiting, claiming she's too weak and unworthy to face him. She drops a bomb if the guild bothers him. She'll kill them all. The room instantly freezes. Before anyone can react, a cat-eared girl appears and greets Takumi with a bright smile. She's Beast King Makis, here to pick him up with a casual meow like it's totally normal. Zaha's heard enough. Gripping his massive sword, he confirms the talk is over. Takumi dies right now. Zaha slams his massive weapon down, but Mayake dodges like it's nothing. She licks her hand, staring him down. She's one of the Demon King's 4 heavenly kings, and the terrifying rumors are 100 true. Barbaroi checks her ego, warning that title or not, she can't solo this many elites. Mikey tilts her head, casually telling the old man she can take them all. Hero steps up with Excalibur, mocking her as Machina triggers slaughter mode. The real fight begins. Machina stares her down, calling the Beast King mere prey and vowing a swift, silent end. The room erupts. A massive blast rips the roof off, sending debris everywhere. Takumi screams for them to stop, waving his hands and begging for a truce, but it's too late. The dust settles, leaving Takumi paralyzed in the wreckage, his back giving out from pure terror. He plays it cool and suggests a talk, but he's internally screaming as his house gets wrecked. Mikey instantly chills. If the Demon King says stop, she's cool with it. Barbaroi's not buying it. The proof is out and his cover's blown. What's left to discuss? Takumi's sweating bullets but holds firm, insisting he hasn't admitted a thing. Sitting in the wreckage, he eyes the Beast King. He's got a question. He asks why she thinks he's the Demon King and if she's ever even seen his face. Confused, Mikey meows and admits she hasn't to. She reveals the Demon King becomes a spirit and possesses humans to suppress his insane power. She's never seen his true form. Takumi glares, masking his fear. If she doesn't know his face, why call him the Demon King? She reveals she's been tracking the Demon King's energy since his resurrection. Mayaki's warns the target is hiding, but she definitely sensed the Demon King's energy right here moments ago. Takumi sweats bullets as the truth sinks in. He freezes, realizing something massive, so he turns to his blade and asks, Karna point blank is the Demon King inside him? Karna shuts him down. Zero chance. Takun lacks the vessel every normal human has. She mocks his empty shell. Without a vessel, power and spirits can stay in his body. Takumi's in tears. Being called empty hurts, and he admits the insult stings. He's relieved. The nightmare of being the secret Demon King is officially over. Eyes snap open. He's clear time to tackle the real problem. He gestures to the crowd, asking why she singled him out with so many other suspects around. Mikey narrows her eyes and drops a bombshell she met Alice just a few days ago. Mayaki's reveals the Demon King was resurrected 10 years ago, but he's been a total no-show ever since. The 4 heavenly kings take charge, hunting for a human vessel. She drops the first name on the list. Their top suspect is Alice. Mikey reveals Alice lived in the dungeon 10 years ago with power that defied human logic. They were certain she was the one the Demon King's chosen host. Makasi led the heavenly kings to Alice, but she isn't the Demon King after all. She's not the boss, so they demanded to know how did a human get power this insane. Minutes pass. Takumi sweats bullets, sensing a disaster ahead. Mikey raises a finger, revealing Alice's only. Alice drops the bomb. It was all Takumi's guidance. Takumi screams. Alice claims it's a lie, but she was already beyond human when he found her in that dungeon. Mayaki's ignores him, insisting Lord Takumi is the only possible Demon King. Another guy agrees it's already settled, so Lyndon adjusts her glasses and backs the lie with fake data, claiming a 120 probability. Top adventurers draw their blades to slay the Demon King, calling him the ultimate final prey. Machina wastes no time, triggering Great Massacre mode and initiating combat operations. Yoro readies his strike, whispering he'll annihilate the target. Leia steps in instantly, telling Takumi she's following him anywhere even if he's the Demon King. Chiharu joins the squad, shouting she's coming along no matter what. Barbaroi bows, announcing that per Alice's orders, he's now Takumi's loyal subordinate. Rick steps up from the back, joining Takumi's side. Mikey counts her claws. The group is split perfectly for a 6-on-6 showdown. Team S ready, but Takumi won to get up, just slumped over the Soul Eater sword. Takumi's sweating bullets. He's so terrified he can't even stand. He's vibrating on the floor, legs buckled and paralyzed with fear. Leia misreads the room, bragging that Takumi won to even stand up for weaklings like these. Chiharu plays along, claiming he's so composed he'll crush everyone while sitting down. Takumi plays along with their insane theory, forcing a stiff grin through his trembling lips. He kicks back on his rock throne, praising their deduction. Everything went exactly as planned. He looks down on everyone with total confidence. The legend of Demon King. Takumi starts now. Chairman Barbaroi de Escalatas, calling for an immediate end to the fight. His solution: a massive guild martial arts tournament in exactly 1 month. He proposes a team battle winner gets 1 wish. Sweating bullets, Takumi plays it cool, asking if the chairman's anything offer is legit. Barbaroi confirms the deal the guild won't touch Takumi. If Takumi wants it, they're never coming back. Takumi tallies his squad. Jazrek, Leia, and Chiharu are in, but he admits he's only got 1 more ally. Barbaroi says, forget the numbers, if Takumi's confident, he can go solo. Mayaki's drops a wild plan. She'll recruit the other 3 heavenly kings. Backup secured, Takumi kicks back while coolly accepts the challenge. Barbaroi locks in the deal, promising the guild's rep list later. He glances back at Takumi on his rock. The guy's totally composed. Barbaroi admits Takumi could effortlessly wipe them all out if he wanted. He stops, adding 1 final condition. Fists clenched, he warns Demon King Takumi Don to underestimate the guild. With a creepy stare, Barbaroi reveals his side's secret trump card. Takumi keeps a poker face, telling the chairman he's looking forward to it. Once they re-gone, Takumi replays the talk, realizing he just signed up for a massive fight. He's throwing round one and bolting because Barbara's killer gaze scares him so bad he pisses himself, hiding the evidence behind a random waterfall. Grand Tournament Day is finally here, and the city looks massive under the sun. Guild HQ is prepped and ready for the main event. Banners unfurl as the announcer kicks off the main tournament lottery. He tells the crowd to brace for the big reveal. The list drops with wild matchups. Barbaroi, Rank 1, Takumi, Alice, and Monster Kings. Mayakis and Chloe. Takumi stares at the board, feeling the battle manga heat. He knows fighting means death in 2 seconds, so he locks in, swearing to forfeit no matter what. Takumi hits the market as locals whisper about the Demon King's party. One panics, warning his friend Don to look, or the curse kills you. Takumi ignores the scary rumors as Mayaki pops up behind him, demanding cotton candy. Takumi brushes Mayaki off, promising to buy her cotton candy on the way home. He's panicking with a 4 heavenly king following him. He feels like the actual Demon King. He stares blankly, wondering if he'll ever be normal again after this mess. He stares at the massive stadium he's never fought on a stage this grand. A shrine maiden intervenes with paper charms, identifying the 4 god pillars, a power also found in the east. She reveals the 4 divine beasts, Genbu, Bayako, Seryu, and Suzaku, guard the directions to make the arena sacred. She explains her pillar magic. Genbu blocks fatal hits, Bayako catches cheaters, Seryu heals, and Suzaku revives the dead. Safety triggers mean an instant loss, but they guarantee no one dies in this arena. Takumi's relieved. Now he can fight all out without fearing for his life. The maiden totally misreads him, gasping as she assumes he's just scared his insane power will accidentally kill his opponent. Takumi plays along, telling the shrine maiden she's spot on even though she's dead wrong. Lyndon enters in her maid outfit, bows, and tells Lord Takumi she's been waiting, and she leads them to the Demon King Army's bench, leaving Takumi sweating over another wrong label. The announcer screams from the big screen, the Martial Tournament main event starts now. A hand draws a numbered ball, proving the lottery is strictly fair. The announcer signals the big screen, revealing the final tournament bracket to the entire stadium. The bracket's out. Takumi faces Chairman Barbaroi Saza in the opening match. Takumi's sword warns him this lottery is totally rigged. Takumi shrugs. It doesn't matter who he faces. He knows he can beat a single person on that list. The crowd erupts as the announcer skips the talk round 1. Match 1 starts now. The announcer summons Chairman Barbaroi and Lord Takumi to the arena. Barbaroi chuckles. It's finally time to start. Takumi recalls the warning. This is Nirohachi's most hated opponent, a dirty fighter who uses every trick to catch you off guard. Word is he fakes weakness and masks his presence to catch enemies off guard. Takumi realizes his opponent faking weakness is perfect, since he's actually weak himself. Leia yells from the stands to save his special move. She'll handle the rest of these guys herself. Ignoring the noise, Takumi stares down the chairman, demanding one answer before they fight. He stares him down, asking if Barbaroi suspected he was the Demon King. No answer. The announcer screams, and the first match begins. Barbaroi wastes no time, lunging at Takumi with a massive sucker punch before he can react. Leia screams from the stands, but Takumi knows he can't dodge this. The strike shatters the arena floor, blasting debris everywhere. Barbaroi skips the punch, pinning Takumi to unleash his secret sealing art dark drain circle. Karna screams from the sword. It's dark magic that move needs prep, but Barbaroi's gasping and drenched. He's spent, telling Takumi it's finally over. Dark tentacles ensnare Takumi as Barbaroi reveals the month-long delay was part of the plan. Forcing Takumi into the tournament was just another setup. He admits every move was just to set up this one technique. He spent a month secretly rigging the arena floor with ritual magic. He burned his last drop of power to trigger it. Takumi sweats, asking if pre-match traps are fouls. Barbaroi calls it a loophole. He added it after construction, so it's fair game, and he glares, declaring Takumi's hidden power is irrelevant because that magic circle drains every drop of energy until nothing's left. Takumi's unfazed. This feels exactly like Karna's power drain. He realizes this massive range is a direct upgrade to his own sword. Barbary laughs, declaring it's curtain call and telling Takumi to dry up and die. Takumi casually rips the tentacles off, leaving Barbaroi in total shock. The chairman brags his move traps gods, even apologizing for being too strong. Takumi calls it gross and useless. It only works on the strong and his power is 0. Barbaroi snaps. Staring at Takumi in terror, he screams, "Who the hell are you?" He points a trembling finger, asking if Takumi is a monster beyond gods and demon kings. Karna whispers from the blade, telling Takun to drop his catchphrase and end this. Takumi smirks, arms crossed, telling Barbaroi he's figured it all out like a pro. Barbaroi drops. The announcer crowns the universe's strongest, Takumi, the winner of round 1. Takumi waves as the announcer screams, he just crushed Chairman Barbaroi without breaking a sweat. The crowd's stunned. Even with special eyes, one guy saw nothing before the match ended in a flash. Wild theories fly, is it an instant kill zone or total air control? It was a massive self-destruct, but Chiharu doesn't care. She tackles him, screaming about how cool he was. Leia hugs him tight, calling it splendid, while Chloe brags that's exactly what she expects from her fiancé. Mikey slides in grinning, asking the Demon King if he's hiring brides and offering to join the squad. Leia and Chloe snap, screaming in unison that she's staying behind. The crowd watches the drama as jealous guys scream they'll never forgive him. The announcer cuts in. Round 1's second match starts right now. She calls the names, summoning Lyndon Lindbergh and Dogma to the arena floor. Dogma's a massive armored tank, telling everyone to chill. He's immortal even without the barrier. He boasts no human can even scratch him. He stares Lyndon down, warning her this is her last chance to forfeit. He wants to go easy once the fight starts, but Lyndon doesn't flinch. She just fixes her dress and bows like a proper maid, wishing him a good day. Lyndon calmly says goodbye as space shatters behind her. Mikey and Takumi are stunned. Mikey explains the guy was just erased by spatial teleportation. She calls Dogma an idiot for ignoring defense, but she's stunned he couldn't tank that magic. Takumi sweats, wondering if Dogma lost to magic or if there's a deeper reason. Lyndon's way stronger than expected that spatial magic is no joke. Dogma's missing. The announcer declares Lyndon Lindbergh the winner by default. Mayake storms off, calling Dogma a disgrace to the 4 kings. She'll fix their reputation herself. Round 1, match 3 begins, and Mikey looks terrifyingly serious. Mayakes and Dagon hit the arena. Dagon's ready to scrap, but then match 4. Dark King Azathoth, Rex Machine for the win. The announcer loses her mind, screaming about the demon army's power and wondering if humanity even stands a chance. Takumi's sweating bullets in the stands. Allies or not, that fight was brutal, and if they find out he's a fake, he's finished. He turns to Mayake, dead serious, asking if peace between humans and demons is actually impossible. Mayake shuts him down instantly. It's impossible. The weak will always fear the strong. The strong crush the weak, fueling an endless cycle of violence. She glares, declaring her kind will never follow a weakling. Peace with humans is a total contradiction. Talk's done. The board flashes for match 3. Beast King Mayakes versus Super Hunter Dagon. The fight ends in a heartbeat. The stunned crowd stammers, how did a guy like Dagon just get an A? Total beatdown. Dagon gets crushed instantly and Mayakes wins. Mikey claims their king must be the weakest human who understands everyone's pain. The catch, that weakling must outpower them all. She tells him straight, someone like that doesn't exist. Takumi breaks a sweat, knowing he'd easily win a contest for being weak. Mikey asks if he forgot he ditched that peace dream long ago, but She tells Takumi that after the tournament, the 4 of them are heading to the frontier. Takumi panics, trying to stop her. It's total information overload. He realizes the original Demon King actually wanted peace with humans. The announcer cuts in. It's time for round 1, match 5. She orders Leia and Yoru into the arena. The next fight starts now. Leia smirks back, telling Takumi to watch her closely. Takumi's sweating bullets but plays it cool, telling her to give it her all from the stands. Once she's gone, he finds a mysterious letter tucked in his pocket. He reads a chilling note, I haven't forgotten you. Meet at the big tree behind the arena. Takumi instantly hits Chiharu with the classic bathroom excuse to slip away. She's worried sick, but he signals he'll be right back. He hits the meeting spot, where a voice from the trees reveals they knew he was the Demon King all along. The shadow asks for his title. Is he still the Demon King, or something new? The voice says if he is down, they can just keep things the way they were. Lyndon steps out with a sharp look, telling him to call her Lyndon Lindbergh. Takumi cuts to the chase, sweating as he asks Lyndon what she wants. Ignoring his question, she pivots to flowers, claiming blue roses didn't exist back then. Lyndon reveals that since they weren't real, these flowers symbolize impossible. That's changed. The moment the first blue rose bloomed, a new meaning was born. She reaches out, declaring the flower's miracle gave it a brand new meaning. She strikes a pose, revealing the blue rose now means dreams come true. Takumi rubs his eye, baffled by the poetry, and asks what she really wants him to do. Lyndon smiles and finally gives a straight answer. She wants him to do nothing. He asks if she really wants him playing the Demon King forever. She corrects him he's playing way more than just the Demon King. Lyndon flexes titles like Universe's Strongest, demanding he remain the Demon King forever. Takumi's baffled and asks why she'd want that, but she stares him down. It's a secret. If he wants answers, he's got to beat her first. Takumi narrows his eyes and shuts her down instantly. He'll forfeit the second round and reveal he's the Demon King anyway. Lyndon calls it unfortunate, but she gets right in his face. She grabs his face and kisses him before he can react. She waves off, calling it a special kiss to buy his silence. Takumi's blushing and panicking the real Demon King just stole his first kiss. Leia rushes in battered but cheering she won, and finally conquered her past. Sweating bullets, Takumi forces a smile and tells Leia she did great. Leia admits she would have quit, but Takumi had her back, giving her the power to push through. Takumi nervously agrees, but he missed everything. He was too busy getting his first kiss stolen. The announcer shouts, "Round 1, match 6 starts now." The screen flashes the matchup Rick versus End. They're called to the arena. In the hall, Leia sees a drained Takumi. She asks if he's okay, assuming he's just exhausted from cheering for her. Takumi ignores the question and asks Leia if she's ever been kissed, making her. Leia loses her mind, turning bright red and stammering kiss in total shock. She flails in denial, then nervously assumes Takumi's the experienced one. Takumi stares down, muttering he had zero experience until right now. Takumi's confession hits hard. Leia and Chloe freeze as the air turns heavy. They snap. Leia demands to know who he kissed, and Chloe wants answers too. They get in his face with terrifying looks, demanding he spill every detail right now. Things are so chaotic, even the narrator's asking why the real fight is outside the arena. The crowd mistakes her rage for Takumi's power, trembling in fear while praising the Demon King's aura. Chloe catches a scent and instantly identifies the mystery person. She screams the scent matches the Demon King's woman, and Lyndon suddenly appears behind them. Lyndon flips her hair, teasing them for freaking out over a simple kiss. Takumi asks why Lyndon's at their bench, but she ignores him and things spiral because Leia and Chloe demand kisses, and even the sword screams for a turn. Chiharu steps up, shouting Takumi's name, but before he can react, she grabs him and plants a kiss. She cups his blushing face, smiling and promising she'll never let him go again. Takumi groans in stunned confusion. Suddenly, the announcer reveals match 6 ended in a double forfeit before anyone even noticed. Chloe leaps in, screaming her evil dragon dark flame bullet. Massive twin dragon blast rips through the arena, shaking the earth. Takumi watches the carnage, realizing he's way out of his league. Monsters fly in total chaos. No matter who wins, he's forfeiting his turn. Mikey calls him Demon King, but Takumi shuts it down fast. Mikey gets in his face, dead serious, demanding his true identity. She confirms the girl's aura was definitely the Demon King's. Takumi panics, his cover's blown, and he's about to get erased like a mob character. He nervously asks what she'll do if he isn't the Demon King. She just scratches her head and backs off. The real Demon King needs him. She acts like she saw nothing, leaving Takumi stunned by how chill she's being. Mikey warns the Heavenly Kings could strike humanity again, but only if the Demon King commands it. Chloe's disqualified for cheating, and she just clicks her tongue, standing exposed. Karna admits she's busted. They caught her fueling Chloe mid-fight. The announcer pushes for Alice versus Jazrek in match 8, but things are spiraling. Jazrek forfeits, handing Alice the win by default. Takumi freezes, realizing round 1 was a total blur. He's sweating bullets. Is the real Alice actually in the tournament? Reality hits round 2 is here, and he's terrified to face Lyndon. No rest, the announcer immediately calls for the second match. Takumi steps out nervous as Lyndon looms with a massive, terrifying aura. She adjusts her glasses with a creepy grin. It's finally time to start. She unleashes her dark power, done hiding, and demands to know why the Demon King is doing this. She demands to know why he forced her to recognize him as the Demon King, even stealing a kiss. Takumi knows he's cooked. He grabs the bell, begging Nirohachi for a rescue. The bell rings, space warps, and Nirohachi pops out. She shields Takumi, screaming she'll never let him go again. Chloe and Karna watch. Stunned, the arena's barrier didn't even flinch at the intruder. Takumi eyes the bell, realizing the judges count summoning a person as just another weapon. Lyndon's unfazed. She smirks, adjusts her glasses, and notes their alone time is officially over. Nirohachi stands firm, telling the secretary she's not handing Takumi over to anyone. Dead serious, she gives Lyndon one last warning to back off and leave Takumi alone. Lyndon closes her eyes and thanks Nirohachi, admitting she would have broken long ago without that flower. She says if Alice was saved, she wouldn't have done a thing. Even saving Nirohachi would have been enough. She glares at Takumi and drops the truth he ditched them both for a quiet mountain life. Nirohachi denies it, bringing up Takumi, but Lyndon cuts her off. She knows Nirohachi rigged the setup and placed a mountain barrier just to watch him. She says Nirohachi ditched Alice, Lyndon, and her dreams all for this. Takumi's stunned. His exile was Nirohachi's plan all along. She wasn't missing. She was watching him the whole time. Lyndon asks if sacrificing everything for him is worth it, making Nirohachi snap and scream at her to shut up. Talk's over. Nirohachi unleashes his massive wave sphere purgatory. Lyndon counters with dark magic, unleashing subspace prison. Blasts collide with insane force as Nirohachi and Lyndon go all out. Screaming through the storm, Lyndon reveals she's been watching. She hands her dream to Alice and Nirohachi, only wanting to guard the dungeon. She screams, certain it would have been enough. She screams 10 years of watching them and still zero progress. Confused by the barrier, she demands Lyndon explain what she's doing. Lyndon claims him if he's unneeded. Then a blast sends Takumi flying. Nirohachi snaps back, screaming she needs Takumi, but Lyndon smirks, asking if she's just playing guardian. Is she happy watching from the sidelines until someone steals him? Nirohachi snaps, screaming she's dead wrong, so turning beet red, she screams her love for Takumi. Lyndon adjusts her glasses and gives the word, it's finally time to start. The arena erupts from the energy blast while Takumi stands there clueless. Lyndon turns her back, declaring they're about to replay exactly what happened 10 years ago. Nirohachi freezes in fear as Lyndon vows to take everything she has. Dark magic erupts around Lyndon, spiraling skyward as everyone watches. She adjusts her glasses with a twisted grin, asking if it's finally arrived. A dragon slams from the sky, cratering the arena in a massive dust cloud. Chloe snaps, screaming it's her grandpa, while Leia yells it's the ancient dragon. Takumi looks up trembling and spots a rider on the dragon. He knows that face. Lyndon watches them land, declaring every actor is finally on the stage. The rider leaps from the dragon, sticking a dramatic landing in the wreckage. Takumi's terrified as the newcomer reveals her student is already humanity's strongest. Takumi has zero talent, but the entire universe thinks he's the strongest master alive. That's why Alice finally arrives, smirking like she's already won, while birds soar over distant peaks, a peaceful start to the morning. Morning, Takumi sips tea on his porch, sighing in relief. Peace is finally back. He pauses, admitting it's not fully back, he's just faking it. He scans the view. Even if this piece is just for show, things aren't looking too bad. Nirohachi blushes, Leia smiles, and it's official Hachi's fallen for Takumi. Alice is totally spent. The days from Leia's arrival to the tournament's end were brutal. Takumi clasps his hands, praying he's never dragged into a mess like that again. A guy with mesh markings interrupts. He's just saying hi, but asks if he gets points for it. Lyndon steps in stone-faced now. Even a simple hello costs 5 Takumi points. Chloe's annoyed by the paywall and checks her point total. Lyndon checks the score. She's at exactly 4 Takumi points. Chloe's ticked. She's barely progressed and can't believe clearing those cave weeds was only worth 2 points. Lyndon confirms rates vary by area. She earns just 1 point for every 25 meters cleared. Takumi thinks the system's a scam, but he needs these high walls to finally relax. Chloe checks the endgame, asking Lyndon how many points it takes to marry Takumi. Lyndon doesn't hesitate, dropping the price marriage costs over 5 to 6 billion points. Chloe screams weeding the whole world wouldn't cover it. But Lyndon adds kids cost another 10 billion. Takumi loses it. He can believe the point system is still active after marriage. Lyndon confirms the prices are final, and Takumi's relieved. If no one can afford him, he can finally live in peace. Takumi hides, praising Alice's scam, while Chloe hunts for a loophole. She asks Lyndon if helping Takumi earns points, and she loses patience, demanding a way to score massive points instantly. Lyndon says normal tasks cap at 100 points, but hints at a hidden side to the system. She offers a secret challenge worth 10 billion Takumi points. Chloe, you in? Chloe doesn't hesitate, hyped and shouting she's all in if that's an option. Lyndon nods, grabbing her comms to call Lady Alice and set it up. Quest revealed defeat humanity's strongest, beat Alice in 60 minutes for 10 billion points, and Chloe freezes. Knowing she's no match for the Sword Saint, the Dragon Girl flies off at top speed, screaming she's letting them slide today. Threat over. Takumi casually tells Leia it's time to harvest the rice. Takumi asks about the farm, but Leia's already finished. Mikey helped her mow the whole harvest down early. Catgirl grinds for 3 Takumi points, but the Demon King pockets the entire payout. Takumi locks in, muttering Mikey, Demon King, and Grand Tournament as he connects the dots. Lyndon stands tall at the arena entrance, blocking Takumi, Leia, and Mayaki. Lyndon admits a 1v1 is impossible, but grins the team battle against Alice starts now. She poses and shouts to kick things off. Alice charges a massive energy ball, sparking the legendary Great Alice War. The blast hits instantly, leveling the guild and scorching everything for 2 kilometers. Chaos in the stands. Clothes are scorched off, leaving every fan with a giant afro. Smoke clears. Takumi hides in a wall hole, whispering to Leia. Takumi grabs a drink and asks about Alice. Leia says she's off training. Seeing Takumi at the tournament made Alice feel weak, but he's clueless why. Leia reveals Alice's point system, buys her time to power up, but Takumi cuts him off. He looks confident, but he's clueless about what's coming next. 1 month later, someone actually grinds out 10 billion points. Karna snaps at that number, screaming about those 10 billion points. She snaps at Leia to shut it, calling her a black lizard, terrified Takumi might overhear. Takumi's sweating bullets. He heard every word of that loud conversation. Karna freaks out. How did anyone score that high when her team only managed 25? Leia panics, admitting she's way behind with only 300 points. Leia checks her device. It shouldn't be possible, but Alice definitely sent a notification. Karna demands to know who it is. Did someone actually clear the hidden challenge? Leia screams it's impossible. Alice only loses to Takumi, which makes Takumi's sweating bullets. He knows he'd lose too. He's a total fraud. He's baffled. How do you even grind 10 billion points that fast? Leia says the mystery guest hits the cabin today, the only spot to swap points. Karna loses it over the prize, screaming about marriage and wishing she'd saved her points. Suddenly the girls stop fighting and stare ahead, frozen in shock. Takumi gets it. With this method, hitting 10 billion points is actually possible. The guest isn't alone. A royal army and a massive carriage march up the path. Carriage rolls in with a soldier escort, flying the unmistakable flag of the Lucia kingdom. Takumi finally sees how they hit 10 billion points. They mobilized the whole country. Lucia has 50 million people. He crunches the numbers. If everyone saves a little, the math adds up. This crazy plan is actually possible. Karna spots her and yells to a stunned Leia, "It's the Cliff Princess." Right on cue, the carriage halts and the door creaks open, revealing a shadow inside. The group watches in fear. Even Takumi knows the rumors about this woman. Lucia's princess is pushing 30, yet she rejects every marriage proposal thrown her way. She's the princess of the precipice, and the name sticks. It's no random title. She's named after white lilies found only on the deadliest cliffs. In the east, Yuri flowers symbolize purity and bloom in the harshest storms, just like the woman stepping out of that carriage. The attendant announces their arrival as Lady Salia thanks Nana-san from inside the carriage. They watch from the trees as her backstory drops. She's rejected every proposal, from princes to supermodels. She steps out looking untouchable, a flower blooming on a cliff far beyond anyone's reach. That's why every guy she rejected calls her the princess of the precipice. She finally shows her face, the real Salia Shauna Lucia. Takumi freezes. He knows her. Salia isn't just royalty. She's an old teammate who saved his life countless times. She smiles softly, telling him it's been a long time. Butler Nanasan steps in, explaining Salia's here to trade her Takumi points and wants the paperwork done now. Shaken, Takumi agrees to verify the points immediately. The butler agrees, instantly presenting a tray for him to check her T-card first. The butler reveals the card, and it's absurd. Takumi's serious face is plastered right on the front, and Nanakan reveals the Takumi point card, the T-card, and claims the idea as his own. It's standard procedure back home. Every Lucia citizen has one to manage. Takumi points. Takumi panics, asking Nanasan when he even had time to build that. Ignoring the chaos, Nanasan spots Leia in the back, eyeing the card with pure desperation. He hands them one, explaining T-cards are for anyone, not just citizens. Both girls lose it. Leia begs for 3 copies to save one, and Chloe screams she needs 3 too. Mid-panic, Nanasan adjusts his glasses and drops another bomb. The Winter Takumi Festival is live. Trade points for cash, or save them for exclusive event rewards. Meaning, Leia's hooked, grabbing him and demanding her special benefits. Nanosin lists the rewards: 10 points for goods, 200 for a year of meat, or 300 for a gold coin. 1 coin buys an entire house, bringing the total to a massive 10 billion points. He offers a trade now that card he gave her is loaded with 10 billion points. Leia rips the scroll open as Nanasan notes a personal letter from Lady Alice is inside. Chloe's losing it. Leia just snagged that 10 billion point card first. She screams she should have finished Leia sooner while Nanasan calmly takes notes. Takumi checks on Leia. She's fixated on the letter, so he asks if she's okay. He sees the name and breaks a sweat. They wrote Goblin King just to mock him. Leia looks up, face grim. The scroll's intel is 100 real. Salia smirks and asks the big question, what are they trading those points for? Nanosin breaks down the continent's 5 major nations, starting with the north and east. He points south to the Machine City and west to the Magic Kingdom. He points to the center, the massive unified nation, the world's largest country and their home. Nanasin adjusts his glasses. Lucia is running the show from the center of it all. Being neighbors with everyone has kept them war-free for over a century. Then the bombshell: every nation is invading from all sides at once. Takumi snaps, screaming, is every single country really attacking them? Nanakan reveals Takumi's legend started a month ago. Rumors say he one-shotted the chairman and terrified the world's strongest. Takumi sweats, stammering he was just standing there. Nanakan reports Takumi's in the guild, but the world thinks he's just a powerful cave hermit. Nanakan adds that rumors are spreading. Takumi has zero interest in the guild or ruling. Takumi breaks a sweat. He knows it's true. He just wants to cook and live a quiet life. Nanakan warns that's the problem. Every nation is hunting Takumi to seize power for themselves. They won't just run a country, they'll rule the world. Now everyone's panicking to grab him. Nanosin reveals all 4 nations are hunting Takumi points. Some even use them as cash. Leia demands the cash while Takumi panics. Is he just human currency now? Nanasin warns him another nation is about to snatch him by force, so Lucia grabbed the points to block it. Salia tells Takumi they're out of options. She grips his arm, claiming he belongs to the kingdom of Lucia or something else entirely. Her smile triggers a flashback to her talking about laundry. Leia mopes, muttering her heart's cloudier than the weather. Salia smiles and calls Leia over to teach her the right way to do laundry. Leia freezes up, nervously asking if this is even allowed. Salia says it's fine as a girl, she needs to learn laundry anyway. As Leia washes, Salia tells Takumi she looks just like Alice. Takumi smiles and agrees, admitting her work feels weirdly nostalgic, but Leia scrubs so hard she asks if the clothes are shrinking, while Salia screams she's literally ripping them apart. Takumi laughs it off, finally feeling like his peaceful life is back. But the massive Takumi point problem still not fixed at all. Flashback to a few days ago. Celia grabs Takumi's hands, stares him down, and demands he be hers. Before he can react, she pulls him into a tight hug right in the open. Takumi panics, but Salia whispers they just need to fake a kiss and hug. She whispers the bombshell an enemy spy is in her ranks. Takumi is floored. Watching the romance, Chloe snaps and screams she's unleashing her final dragon form. Leia snaps, quits fighting gods, and tries to commit seppuku until the crew screams for her to stop. Nanison strikes a pose and unleashes her sentence spring bazooka to snag the snooper. An Eastern ninja with a camera appears. Nanison wants to chase, but Salia stops him. Salia tracks the spy to find the boss, but Nanakin asks if she's truly okay. Takumi watches, totally baffled, and asks if that guy was seriously the spy. Salia eyes the prisoner and scoffs, dismissing him as just another low-level spy. The soldiers behind them freak out. There's a spy right in their ranks. Takumi's still reeling from the hug, but Salia promises no forced marriage. She just needs rumors. He's hers to scare off other nations. Salia skips the forced wedding, keeping her Takumi points, and she blows 100 million points on dungeon passes to warp her army home, staying behind alone. She tells Takumi she's crashing with him until she hunts down the mastermind. Confused, Takumi asks if someone else is involved. He was sure the point system was Alice's idea. Salia doubts Alice could build a complex anti-fraud system. Takumi agrees she can't even do basic math. Salia finds Alice's sudden entry suspicious and asks Takumi if it's a trap, but he's got no clue. She turns dead serious, warning him this plan started way before the tournament. Someone's using him and Alice for a massive plot. Takumi's cracking under the pressure. He's sick of being dragged into messes and just wants to end it all. Salia ignores the mood and unpacks. Her bed won't fit, and she forgot her toothbrush, so she cheerfully shrugs it off, saying Nanison will just send it later. Chloe watches, asking if she's seriously humming a tune right now. Leia's fed up with the guest and hears that humming loud and clear. Celia happily scouts for a bed while Leia screams a warning, "Stay behind the boundary line." Takumi asks if her kingdom's safe without her, but she shrugs it off. She left a body double. I freeze, asking what she means by substitute. Her cover is finally revealed. It's the new Lucia Hashudal Chilt. Turns out she's the Lucia Kingdom's first queen. Flashback. The witch demands they recruit more party members. Flashback 10 years to where this mess started. Takumi reveals rank 1 Nirohachi forced the guild to pass him, but no one wants a dropout teammate. Ranks usually end at E, but he's so trash they invented F rank just for him. No squad wants dead weight, leaving him stuck from the jump. Nirohachi saves him, joins his party, and casually flashes a AAA quest. Dragon slain. She mutters he's too weak. She can't protect him alone. Now Takumi asks the new Lucia why Nirohachi even came to the royal castle. Ignoring the details, she walks on, telling him to hurry and asking what's wrong. Takumi freezes, pointing at a painting that's definitely Nirohachi. Takumi eyes a portrait of the first queen, New Lucia Hashutla Chilt. He asks the queen, "Was that woman really the first ruler?" Lucia smirks, correcting him the first queen actually crushed the original kingdom and seized power. Flashback, she's formally addressed by her full royal name, but Nirohachi cuts them off, telling the bowing man to drop the titles. She hates formality. In the throne room, the queen skips the titles and asks why she's here. Nirohachi grins, scouting for a team skilled in defense, healing, and danger detection. The queen's baffled. Why would a powerhouse like Nirohachi even need help? But now Takumi sees the truth. She didn't want those roles for herself. She took them to protect him. Sasha's with Knight Captain Rick, proving she recruited the kingdom's absolute best just for Takumi. Nirohachi names her targets, starting with Priestess Sasha. She also demands the Master Thief Bats join the lineup. She scans the Queen's stats for defense, recovery, and detection, then calls for a test run. Queen gives the green light, so Nirohachi claims all three on the spot. Sasha smiles at the memories. After the chaos, she was sent to a monastery. Takumi listens, admitting he never knew Sasha was the Queen's daughter. He notices someone's missing. Where's Rick? He should be here any second. Celia's face falls as she reveals Rick's been missing since the tournament, leaving Takumi frozen in shock. She reveals Rick's been on a secret mission for ages, tailing Takumi and Alice to keep threats away. But now the lookout has vanished. Rick's missing Takumi locks in and offers to help. Celia smiles back, telling him to just stay put and flirt. She says rumors of her wedding Takumi will bait the mastermind out of hiding. Takumi spots a massive problem. His ally, Leia, is radiating pure murderous intent, so, sweating bullets, he realizes this is the toughest quest he's ever faced. A massive roast chicken hits the table, stuffed with steaming rice. Leia stares in shock, asking what it is. The bird is stuffed with rice. Leia laughs, remembering her adventuring days. Takumi always made this after a big quest. Leia's mood sours, muttering that he never made her anything special. Takumi panics, insisting the rice just wasn't ready for harvest yet. Leia wanted to be outdone, shouting that Takumi was a total heartthrob back in her day too. That night, Leia complains her spot is further from Takumi than yesterday. She busts Salia for watching Takumi sleep and bans her from ever getting that close again. Unfazed, Salia fires back, reminding Leia she was the one watching him from point-blank range. She smirks, pointing out that regardless of witnesses, Takumi slept facing her the whole time. Leia desperately lies, claiming Takumi only shows the back of his head to those he loves. Takumi panics, certain there's no way he has such a weird sleeping habit. The girls clash over boundaries. Salia warns her to back off, but Leia screams she's stealing 2 extra centimeters. Salia snaps at Leia to quit messing around. She's the one closest. She offers to swap, but Leia shuts it down. She's staying put to guard Takumi. The girls panic. The beds are even further apart now. Leia calls him mean, but Takumi shuts her down. This distance is their punishment for fighting. That night, Takumi bolts upright. He can't sleep. He heads out, remembering Leia's crew crowding his home before the point system. Rick and the hero. End even crashed at his place a month before the tournament. He misses those days. But who pulled the strings? What was their real plan? He tracks Takumi points and the missing Rick, recalling Sasha's warning Alice is being used. He checks the system, but it's massive and insanely complex. Sasha calls it magic, but he knows those spells hide actual surveillance devices. No one built this alone. Entire nations teamed up for this city. This high-tech gear is straight from South City, the world's science hub. Looking back, he realizes those Takumi points were his shield all month. He senses zero malice from the creator. This system isn't evil. It feels strangely nostalgic, but a sudden noise nearby catches his ear. A bowl-cut creep emerges from the shadows with Machina, casually saying good evening. Dr. Deaus hacked a back door just to test Takumi's power. Machina's tournament intel was trash, so he's handling things personally. Takumi's stunned. Is this really a test? And what's with the password? He realizes Machina wasn't just fighting, she was spying on him the whole time. Deaus gives him no time to think, ordering Machina to start the experiment now. Makun boots her combat system, slaughter mode is live, and she's ready to engage. She faints, but Takumi doesn't flinch. Deaus is stunned, thinking he saw right through the bluff. Takumi turns, trembling. The truth is worse, he didn't freeze his body, just couldn't react in time. Deaus knows Takumi could crush Machina instantly. Is he holding back because he found the secret? Takumi sweats behind a frozen smile, knowing he's powerless and totally clueless. Deaus reveals. Machina is rigged to level the mountain, and Takumi just screams. He stands frozen in shock as the dust settles, but Deaus ignores the reaction and orders Machina to aim for real. He wants to see the strongest move. Makun drops a cold "yes, doctor," and immediately starts blasting with her arm cannon. Takumi flees, but Deaus misreads it, noting that his weak aura is a genius strategy to lower the enemy's guard. Takumi dives behind a rock, his dodging so pathetic the narrator calls it E rank. He screams through tears that he's not holding back, he's just genuinely weak, but Deaus ignores the pleas and orders Machina to blast that rock with a rocket to test his defense. Machina casually triggers Grand Slaughter mode with a simple Roger. Takumi's cornered and can't win solo, but right. He spots a familiar bell, praying Nirohachi is warping in to save him. Deaus senses the magic and grins. Can the great sage's teleportation break his system? An intruder alert flashes on screen, catching Takumi off guard. The system triggers anti-intruder protocols right in his confused face. Computer decodes the teleport and triggers a reverse transfer to block it. Intruder deleted Deaus beats Nirohachi, and Takumi screams in panic because Machina levels an anti-tank bazooka, counting down from 5 to finish the job. She screams fire, launching a rocket that blasts Takumi in a massive explosion. Takumi's somehow alive, but a hand touches his head. He looks up. Karna appears in human form, grinning as she tells him she kept him waiting. Deaus snaps, screaming it's impossible since his system detected 0 summonings. He rants about action memos, questioning if it's chantless magic or high-level jamming. He screams it's a lie, not even a creator god could bypass his security. Takumi looks at the dragon girl, casually admitting he didn't summon her. He tells Deaus the truth, she's been inside the sword since the start. Takumi screams Karna's name as she shields him. Dr. Deaus snaps, screaming at him to reveal what he is, a monster that defies every law of science. Karna smirks, whispering for Takumi to say his usual line. Takumi smirks and confesses, telling the doctor he's figured it all out. Deaus scans the data. She's a black dragon with 0 history, making it... He hits a terrifying realization and screams, this wasn't a summoning. Takumi built her from scratch. He screams as Takumi instantly spawns a dragon. Is his dad really the creator god? Takumi sighs, his dad's just a regular innkeeper, but... Out of options, Deaus orders Meskina to target the dragon woman first. Makuna locks in the order, priming her entire arsenal. Makuna hammers them with a massive energy barrage, and Karna effortlessly tanks the attack with a dark absorption sphere. Grinning, she asks if that's all. It's punishment time. Deaus yells cheeky as Meskina charges, beam saber ready. Unfazed, Karna summons her evil dragon greatsword. Meskina needs more power, so she unlocks her limiter. Takumi spots the energy spike and screams Karna's name, losing it. She smiles, telling Takumi not to worry, she has to match their effort. Makuna hits max power, unleashing Ragnarok mode. Karna instantly whips out her evil dragon-heavy shield. Karna and Meskina's clash triggers a massive explosion, and while it looks intense, Takumi watches his land get demolished, fuming as his property is trashed. He corners Dr. Deaus, telling him being trapped alone wasn't the plan, now spill everything. Deaus panics, begging the universe's strongest to stop one hit, and he's dead. Takumi stares him down and realizes that this guy is the same breed. Takumi spots an ant, confirming the doctor is also bottom-tier weak. Knowing victory is possible, Takumi's confidence surges as he screams he's coming for him. Deaus shrieks and shields his head in terror. Takumi charges with a flurry of strikes, except he's actually just flailing like a toddler. Deaus winces and cries for Al, then stops mid-scream, wondering why it doesn't actually hurt. Takumi's weak punches trick Deaus into a wild conclusion. Takumi is suppressing his power to the limit just to avoid killing a weakling. Deaus sweats behind his barrier, realizing he misjudged Takumi's restraint. This level of control is insane. Matching that energy, Dio yells that if Takumi's going all out, he's giving this fight everything he's got. They trade pathetic slaps as Takumi warns the doc he's doing okay, but he refuses to lose. Deaus flails back, screaming he won to lose. While they trade pathetic slaps, the real heavy hitters make their move. Karna's dragon flame clashes with the machine's massacre cannon, but the power gap is a joke because the explosion tosses Takumi and Deaus like ragdolls, crashing their pathetic duel. Dio hits the dirt gasping, totally spent. He tells Takumi he's done and suggests settling the score with rock, paper, scissors. Takumi gasps for breath, instantly backing the doctor's idea. One last face-off. They chant the opener and throw down for the win. The match ends. Deaus collapses in defeat as Takumi pumps his fist in victory. Battle settled, they dive into a plate of perfectly grilled rice balls. Deaus bites in and loses it, shocked that grilled rice triangles are this crispy and savory. Takumi keeps the hits coming, telling the doctor that pouring broth over the rice creates a whole new flavor. Deaus's mind explodes. He screams it's genius, never seeing cooking this advanced. With the doc distracted, Takumi shakes on the deal and tells him to stop digging, and Deaus retreats. Quitting stings, but he can't even gauge Takumi's power yet. As the enemies retreat, Karna waves at Makuna, inviting the cyborg back for a rematch anytime. Makuna stops and looks back, warning them next time they face her true self. She vanishes with the doctor coast clear. Karna pokes Takumi to get his attention. Karna looks worried. She warns Takumi her human form is hitting its limit. Takumi's stunned at the cave. Wasn't the seal already broken when she left? She admits it's a lie. She's pushing her limits just to manifest this form. She reverts if she relaxes, so she's been sleeping since the tournament to save power. Takumi finally realizes why she was unresponsive. Karna teases Takumi, asking if he was lonely while she was gone. He asks if enough power breaks the seal, but Karna admits she was dead wrong. She gets serious, her help only cracked the seal, but shattering it takes something specific. She yanks Takumi's shirt, screaming that it's the power of love. She puckers up, claiming a kiss from her true love prince will finally break the seal. Takumi laughs and wishes her luck in finding a guy like that, brutally friend-zoning her to her face. Karna fades, admitting recovery will take ages, and tells Takumi to say hi to Chloe. Takumi watches her leave, smiling as he thanks her for saving his life. He finally gets honest, admitting he was lonely when they couldn't talk. Karna's voice rings from the blade, promising patience as the scene shifts. Dr. Deaus doesn't care who wins the tournament. He's only here for the combat data. Makuna's mechanical body is a money pit, forcing her to hunt for the highest-paying jobs. Gripping the data chip, she accepts the job no matter how dirty it gets. Deaus eyes his screen, revealing only 2 files in the whole tournament actually matter. He pulls their files. Alice looks like a warrior, but Takumi's about to wet himself. Notes that data on these 2 freaks is worth way more than any other fighter. Wait, mysterious weirdos, freaks, or weirdos. Deaus records the finals, his last shot at data. Back at the arena, Miyake screams as she charges in with a loud meow. Deaus pulls her file, IDing Cat Demon Beast King Mike's to crunch the numbers. He checks Miyake's power stats, pulled from her fights with Zaha and Dagon. The results are insane. She's already hitting top-tier S rank in power and speed. Stamina's A, Magic's B, but her special ability is a double S, leading to a... Deaus delivers the final evaluation, a perfect S rank. Alice effortlessly backhands a monster aside like it's nothing. The creature blasts across the arena, smashing the wall to rubble, and Lyndon stares in shock as Alice's power skyrockets. The data confirms it. Her strength is rising with no end in sight. Deaus scans the data. Alice's power is overwhelming, and the demons are panicking. He's stunned. A man stands on stage, acting like it's nothing. Takumi headpats Alice, treating the legendary sword saint like a total kid. Deaus tracks the spike. She crushed the 4 kings instantly, but now her heart's racing. Alice shakes, face red, but Deaus misreads the data, thinking she's just terrified of Takumi. Makuna panics. This is impossible. One more scan and she's dead. She looks up at Takumi, but fear warps him into a shadowed monster staring right through her. A chilling voice confirms her fears. She's exactly right. System crash, audio corrupted. She's hallucinating as the data flashes unknown. Not ready to die today, she bolts as her sensors glitch out. Machina flees, systems spiraling as she obsesses over cutting out her remaining human parts. She's purging her emotions, desperate to become a perfect machine and leave her humanity behind. Takumi watches her leave, clueless. Can she really survive this war zone? Chloe gets in his face, demanding the truth. Is her sister Karna's seal broken? Takumi says she's back in the sword. She was revived earlier, so why mention it now? Chloe relaxes, revealing her ancient dragon grandpa warned the seal is breaking. She regrets missing her sister and relays Grandpa's greeting to Kuchan. Takumi just nods politely. Takumi drops a bombshell. Grandpa says the seal breaks with love, not power. Chloe turns beet red and stammers about love, totally blindsided, while Salia watches from the back. Salia grabs Takumi, laughing that she's always dreamed of a guy stealing her away after retirement. Salia loses it, screaming for him to steal her away while she shreds the entire dragon clan and... Blushing hard, she insists a true gentleman wouldn't even visit the royal palace because he'd realize true happiness is right here in eternity with his disciple, never leaving. Chloe shuts her down, yelling that Salia's plan lacks drama. Real destiny is staying together while the world tries to rip you apart. Karna chimes in from the sword, backing Chloe. Forbidden love is the ultimate classic, so she teases Takumi for still being a total lady killer. She admits she loves the captured and rescued trope, then asks Takumi what his type is. Takumi's spent, admitting he's clueless about romance, but he says it's better if they never realize their feelings. Karna snaps, yelling, "That's not how love works." Takumi walks away as the girls brawl. He's been too busy surviving to even think about love. Karna agrees it sounds like him, but she asks what he'll do if he only realizes his feelings right before death. Takumi awkwardly admits he wanted to know until the moment arrives. He grins at the sky, admitting he'd just pretend he never saw it. Karna snaps at him to stop, trying to spin the disaster into a cool story. Takumi gets serious. Catch the spy, or this fake marriage never ends. Celia seizes her chance, slyly proposing a real marriage and sending Chloe and Leia into a total meltdown. Celia laughs it off, but she's got a plan, a tracker who can find anyone, no matter where they hide. A stranger approaches. He's not from Lucia, but she trusts him completely. They wonder if Sasha's finally here. Rick steps forward with a wave, telling the duo it's been a long time. Salia beams, seeing who it is, and it's the legendary thief Batsu, her old teammate from Nirohachi's party 10 years ago. He talks trash but never backs down, making him a totally reliable ally. Celia's glad he made it. Batsu skips the formalities, teasing her for looking more grown-up and sexy. He laughs, asking point-blank if she and Takumi have hooked up yet. Celia and Takumi instantly shriek, denying everything. Batsu gets the gist and gets down to business, asking where they should start. Salia wants to find the spies, but Batsu already spotted 3 and he's got 1 in his bag. Takumi and Karna stand frozen, jaws on the floor. The captured spy is a short-haired girl kneeling and bound. She screams she'd rather die than talk, but Batsu stays cool, only demanding her boss's name. Takumi realizes she's dressed exactly like Yoru, the ninja from the 10 Greats. Batsu cuts in details dawn to matter, he's already found the mastermind. Takumi demands answers, but Batsu ignores him. He's got a squad to catch. He points ahead. The other 2 are finally here. Voices scream for sisters Huru and Yoru as heavy footsteps charge toward them. 2 figures blitz in at insane speeds, and one is the high-ranker Yoru. Batsu doesn't flinch, whipping out ropes to snag both attackers mid-air before they strike. He snags them instantly, leaving them dangling from trees, screaming it's impossible. Batsu smirks at the captives, bragging he told them it'd be this fast. The ninja stunned. No human should track his stealth this easily. Batsu shrugs it off. He didn't see or sense them at all. He just uses a different capture method. Adaptability is key. Shift your perspective to see the invisible. The captive ninja catches on, asking if that's how Batsu exposed their identity. Batsu confirms he'd spill everything once caught, but a voice interrupts, "That's a problem." Batsu smiles at the threat. Sorry, but he's already promised his friends. Yoru strips naked to slip her ropes and flies off. Asa screams, she's shameless, but Yoru shuts her down. Celia panics and shields Takumi's eyes, screaming that he can't look at the naked woman. Batsu watches Yoru fly off as she shouts that her escape voids the capture. Naked, Yoru hovers and begs him to keep her secret. Batsu apologizes for the skin show, but warns she'll just get caught again soon. Ignoring the insult, she demands he stay silent until she's actually caught. He cracks a grin, finding the whole situation hilarious. Batsu's intrigued and stays quiet until she's caught again. Yoru accepts the deal and rockets skyward, still buck naked. Inside, Leia panics, demanding why Asa's there and casually devouring Takumi's food. Assad calls her a traitor, asking why she isn't out beating up her sister. She's untied on one condition, no running and no scenes. Karna sits beside her and tells her to shut up and eat. Asas devours the food and lets him slide today since it's so good. Takumi turns to the headband guy, asking what Batsu's deal is. Salia explains Rick's chasing the spy, noting Batsu hasn't changed a bit. She warns they being careless. Rank 7. Yoru won to be caught easily. Takumi interrupts, claiming Batsu's a criminal, but he'd be top rank if he joined the guild. He knows Batsu's true power. The guy breezes through every challenge like it's nothing. Batsu scratches his head and grins, apologizing for letting her escape. Takumi gets serious, demanding Batsu name the mastermind. Batsu laughs, certain he'll show up to help her catch the boss. A voice rings out from the road, someone's been craving takumeshi for a long time. Takumi yells in realization. Did he seriously just pick up another freeloader? Batsu greets Leia, Takumi's old friend, and confirms she's the disciple of both Alice and Takumi. Leia introduces herself, confirming she's ditched Alice to study under Takumi. Batsu says training under Takumi was the right move. She's like Alice, so she'll learn fast. Leia beams, thanking Master Batsu for the kind words. Takumi watches Leia click with Batsu instantly, a massive shift from her struggle with Chloe and Sasha. He smiles, realizing Batsu's social charm is just another one of his talents. Batsu finishes his meal and stands. He's ready to hunt his target. Back with the prisoners, Asa asks if they're being underestimated, but Huru knows Big Sis Yoru won't lose to these guys. High in the mountains, Rick admits his enemy is legit. He's lost her trail, exactly as warned. Rick scans the mountains, wondering if the target retreated, but she needs those points too much to leave. She's hiding nearby. He scans the area, confused. Even focusing hard, he only senses wild animals. Back at base, Huru explains the beast transformation rite. She reveals she and Yoru were thrown to a wolf pack as kids to live like beasts. Thanks to her training, searching for a human 1T work, Yoru feels just like a wild animal. Hearing their trauma, Takumi tears up and vows to cook a massive feast tonight. Leia volunteers to search. Knowing the beast technique, she leaves Batsu and Sasha on guard and heads out. Batsu watches her leave, noting her straightforward honesty. He smirks at Takumi, asking if he's already made a move on her. Leia snaps, screaming she's innocent and getting defensive over the joke. Batsu ignores her, setting traps at the entrance while Sasha guards the prisoners. Takumi and Sasha look back and freak out. The girls are already gone. Someone shouts as Yoro back to save them. Rick scans the empty room. No way. Even with stealth, nobody hides their presence this well. He realizes the sisters aren't working alone. Rick reveals there were 4 people from the start, even though he only knew 1. He turns serious, revealing the real mastermind is the one who just showed up. Rick notes he's not just hiding, he's erasing his entire existence. The Group S baffled. How'd anyone pull that off while lugging a Satan Huru? Rick reveals the legendary Hades helm. It erases the wearer and anyone they touch from existence. Leia repeats the name, stunned. She knows this is bad news. Rick says it's magic gear like Takumi's sword, but this mythic helmet shouldn't even exist. Takumi breaks a sweat, questioning how the mastermind scored such impossible gear. Leia asks Batsu how they were supposed to track someone who's invisible. Batsu admits it's impossible, but they've still got 1 card left. Takumi panics, pointing at himself and asking if he's got hidden powers. Batsu points to the bell on Takumi's collar. They have to use it to call him, even if he hates the guy. Too late. A voice mocks them. Dr. Deaus's barrier already blocks all teleportation. The voice says the barrier fades in days, but for now, that bell is useless. Celia isn't worried about leaving her post. She's left the Lucia kingdom's safety entirely to Nirohachi. It was the only way. Without Nirohachi, the mastermind would have taken the country by now. Suddenly, someone interrupts, claiming they didn't even need that summoning bell after all. Nanasin spots Nirohachi and screams, demanding to know what happened to the kingdom she was guarding. Nirohachi claims she dumped the work on a crying Nanasin, but he's standing right there. She snaps, demanding what else she could do with the mastermind still loose and the kingdom in danger. 50. Reduction. Very punchy. Final choice. She tried teleporting to Takumi, but something completely blocked her magic. Wait. She screams that anyone blocking her is a massive threat and charges in to help. Takumi laughs awkwardly, calling it great. Now they just need Rick and Alice to complete the squad. Rick's right there, sweating bullets. Is Takumi blind or just playing dumb? Batsu points to a dark cliffside cave, but Takumi's confused and asks what he's even talking about. The thief realizes Takumi and Sasha forgot this place. It's a solid hideout. He'll fix everything once the targets are caught, so he casually checks in with Nirohachi. Nirohachi eyes Batsu's villain face, telling him to take notes on Takumi's cuteness. Batsu ignores the insult and grins, asking if she confessed at the tournament and if she finally slept with Takumi. Nirohachi and Salia snap, screaming that they did nothing. Batsu keeps talking, calling Takumi a wimp for not making a move and bragging he'd take every girl there himself. A chilling voice whispers in Batsu's ear, "Long time no see, but your final farewell is here." He hits his knees, bowing low and begging for her forgiveness. He snaps back up and asks for the real situation since they aren't under attack. Batsu sets it straight. The prisoner escaped using the Hades helmet. Nirohachi freezes. She thought only one person had the Hades helmet. She turns, hand raised. The helmet. It's here. Her theory is confirmed. Takumi watches from behind, wondering if Nieru knows the helmet sonar too. Nirohachi leaps in, firing an omnidirectional detection spell with a 5-minute limit. Batsu steps back, telling her she's got time, just do it. Wave sphere search erupts, sending magic ripples across the land to hunt their target. Batsu smirks direct hit. He spots armored legs in the shadows. They've been hiding there the whole time. Takumi and Salia spot his find and lose their minds. They can believe it. Celia eyes the armored figure, realization hitting as she gasps Rick's name in shock. Sasha's warning was right. Rick's been plotting a massive scheme for Takumi and Alice Way before the grand tournament. Takumi connects the dots, remembering how the usually calm Rick panicked the moment they first met. Staring at his friend's armor, he asks if this started from the beginning, so he snaps, screaming at Rick and demanding to know if he's been playing them since day one. Rick drops the act and tells Takumi he's spot on. Reality warps as Takumi's sucked into a flashback. He screams through a memory void, plunging straight into the past. He drops into a memory where a woman orders Rick to introduce himself to the group, so Rick sits and introduces himself as the Lucia Kingdom's Knight Captain. Rookie Takumi dreams of making it big while Sasha smiles, promising to be his healer. Batsu dives in for the cash, but he'll save them if he has to again. Chloe's stunned. She asks Takumi if this is even a flashback since the quality is crystal clear. She claims they're closer than ever, but a stunned Takumi asks if she's for real. He hates the setup. They're probing Rick's betrayal, but watching his cringe past in HD is pure humiliation. He realizes it's that classic trope the long flashback took zero real-world time, and he totally agrees. Chloe asks to provide commentary, and Rick gives her the green light from below. The flashback restarts, now with live commentary from the audience. In the memory, the mage leader fills the party and immediately challenges an S-rank quest. Takumi panics, asking if an S-rank start is way too reckless. Takumi's still panicking their last AA run was a disaster, and there's no way they'll survive an S-class quest. Nirohachi stays cool, telling him not to worry. Their trio is elite, so an S-rank is nothing to fear. The quest lands, revealing their target the legendary Emperor Behemoth. Batsu takes one look and shuts it down instantly, calling it impossible. Sasha calls it reckless and Takumi's losing it, but there's a catch. Back in reality, Chloe asks Takumi why Nirohachi always took such insane quests. Takumi finally gets it. She was farming magic to unlock the Demon King's labyrinth. Flashback to the quest site, a brutal rocky wasteland with steam spewing from the ground, and disaster strikes. Takumi's on fire, and Batsu screams for Sasha to hit him with water and healing magic now. Nirohachi takes command, yelling at Rick to forget her and focus everything on guarding Takumi. Nirohachi screams the level gap is insane. Takumi will turn to ash just by standing near it. Takumi knows he was so traumatized he couldn't even cook with fire for a while. The behemoth lunges, shaking the earth as Nirohachi scrambles back. She preps her finisher to flip the fight, but the dragon blasts first, obliterating the area with raw power. Nirohachi knows it's hopeless, screaming for Takumi to run for his life. She screams for Rick, trusting him to defend and protect Takumi. Rick jumps in, deploying his 1,000-layer shield to tank the blast. The attack shatters the shields anyway. Nirohachi screams, "It's over. Takumi is dead for sure." Takumi tells Chloe he forgot what happened next, but since he's still standing, he clearly survived. Rick's out of options, so he stands firm, tanking the dragon's fire with his shield. Nirohachi stammers Rick's wearing the legendary invincible armor Aegis. Chloe lists his gear like Thor's gauntlet, asking if his whole loadout is just magic artifacts. One is impossible to equip, but Rick's rocking 3 at once. Nirohachi spots the helmet of Hades, a presence-erasing myth she never thought was real. She doesn't care how he got them as his armor fades. She agrees and thanks him for saving Takumi, but right. Rick collapses, looking like a piece of burnt toast. Sasha wakes up dazed, clutching her head and asking what happened to Rick. Nirohachi knows saving her friend is all that matters. Rick grunts from the corner. Smoke clears and the crowd panics. Where's the fireball? Did Rick actually block it? Dust settles, revealing a round white blob squeaking on the ground. It stares up blankly, tilting its head in total confusion, so Takumi and Sasha dive in for a hug, screaming over the insane fluffiness. Rick watches from below, noticing the beast is obsessed with Takumi and ignores everyone else. Nirohachi reveals the beast is the Kaiser Behemoth reborn, and it's out for blood against its would-be killers. Makuna only trusts Takumi. He was the only one who didn't show hostility during the fight. Takumi eyes his new buddy and decides to give him a proper name. He names it Behebu for the cuteness, but an emergency food joke sends the creature into a total panic. Rick names it Cotton Meat since it's fluffy, and everyone agrees they just want to eat it. Takumi ignores the food jokes and names the baby Makun. Nirohachi smirks, realizing the beast is only loyal to Takumi. Takumi snaps back, telling her to drop the emergency food and caught meat nicknames. Chloe taps him, notices the baby's gone, and casually asks if he finally ate it. Takumi freaks out, screaming he didn't eat it, the little guy's still alive and kicking. Once this mess clears, Nirohachi plans to visit an old friend, and she drags the group on S-rank quests for fun, while Takumi nearly dies every single time. Quests cleared, Takumi's the team cook, and Sasha steps up to help. He smiles and tells her to rest. She's drained from healing him non-stop. Takumi takes over camp cooking, desperate to contribute after being useless in the fight. Chloe sees he's having a blast and asks why he quit adventuring if he loves the life. This flashes back to the Demon King's massive labyrinth, where his old party investigates the ruined castle, the exact spot Alice was abandoned. They reach the Demon King's door, guarded by a seal that reflects your own power back at you. Takumi rips the massive doors open like cardboard, shocking the entire room. The trap failed because his power level is 0. The door had nothing to reflect. Doors fly open, a single light beam piercing the massive dark room, hitting the dead center. Tiny Alice sat alone on the cold floor. Looking back, why was a weird kid sitting in such a dangerous spot? Takumi continues his story, claiming he saved the girl in a totally moving scene. Back then, Alice couldn't talk, only making weird groans, but Chloe cuts him off. That wasn't gibberish. It was the demon language. Stunned by the news, Takumi demands to know what Alice really said. Turns out Alice was asking him for permission to break and destroy him. "Present day!" Takumi snaps, screaming for his past self to run. Chloe tells him to chill since he's alive. In the memory, he finally reaches the girl. She swings instantly. He yelps from the hit, but he keeps coming. He laughs, says kids should be wild, and effortlessly scoops her up. He puts on his hero face, tells her she was lonely, and vows to protect her. Rick watches from the shadows, confused but relieved they're safe. This world is truly bizarre. He stands silent, smirking behind his helmet. Takumi spots Karna alone in the hall and asks what Rick is staring at. Rick's focused elsewhere, realizing Takumi hosts a Demon King's astral spirit. It clicks. He panics, realizing this is the same Demon King that possessed Lyndon at the tournament. He spirals, is he still possessed, or is this just a trace? He drops it for now, whispering he'll see them later. Takumi explains his new trek through the Demon King's castle, blob on his chest, Alice on his back. Chloe laughs, calling Takumi a stressed-out mom, but he ignores her and asks the butcher for pork scraps. Chloe keeps roasting him, snarking that chores suit him way better than a sword ever did. Takumi remembers the past. Living with Alice meant risking his life every single day. Her power is uncontrollable, vaporizing everything and everyone in range. A giant boar monster crashed their camp while they were relaxing. Alice charges in and pulverizes the beast with one punch. Flying debris nearly killed Takumi on impact. By the fire that night, Takumi calls Alice, and she turns to ask what he wants. Pointing at the pot, he asks if she can finish the whole monster, but Alice shuts him down, saying she'd get way too full eating all that. Takumi snaps if you won to eat it, Don to kill it. Scaring it away was enough. He gets serious, dropping the ultimate rule, take a life, and you own the responsibility. Alice stares, then nods. She finally gets the weight of responsibility. Takumi clasps his hands, loudly thanking the gods and spirits for the day, and Alice asks what he's doing, so Takumi explains he's just voicing his thanks for the meal. He tells her she doesn't need to speak, just thinking it is enough. Alice tries it, but Takumi has no clue his advice will cause a massive misunderstanding later. Later, Alice is stunned he caught a rabbit without crushing it, calling him awesome for his gentle touch. Takumi gasps for air, realizing he's too weak to one-shot this thing. Alice misreads it, praising him for hiding his superior power and holding back perfectly. She learns restraint, giving Takumi hope she can finally live normally. He watches her walk ahead, admitting he thought it'd be that simple. Takumi heads home with the rabbit, totally oblivious and thinking he fooled her. With Alice on the squad, they crush S-class quests back to back. 6 months fly by and Takumi's a walking corpse from the stress. Someone pops a test tube to snag a field sample. Nirohachi asks Takumi if he noticed she saved a piece of Rick S. kill in a tube. Next, the party hits the guild HQ for work. No S-class quests available, so Link offers an AA1 in Chaos Valley. Nirohachi accepts the inevitable and asks for the target. Lyndon halts them to check the file. She grins, warning Takumi that Behemoth is eating his shirt. Takumi panics as Behemoth devours the shirt right off his back. The receptionist is actually Lyndon, she just got assigned here. She whips out a needle and orders him to strip. Takumi asks if it has to be here. Nirohachi jumps in, yelling that receptionists shouldn't do personal favors. Lyndon sews while Takumi blushes, but Nirohachi cuts in, demanding to take over. Lyndon hands back the fixed shirt, and Takumi thanks her for the quick work. She locks in and pulls up the Chaos Valley target. Nirohachi asks if she likes Takumi. Lyndon smiles, telling him to call if he loses another button. They head out, and Karna teases Takumi about being a former ladies' man. Takumi denies it, claiming he's just unreliable, so everyone starts babysitting him. Takumi spots Rick in the vision handing something to Lyndon, and he finally realizes Rick and Lyndon have been secret partners for over a decade. He puts it together. If Lyndon was the Demon King back then, he has no clue who Rick really is. Karna looks worried, asking Takukun if he wants to stop the flashbacks. She warns him some things are better left unknown. She tells them to ignore Rick's shady schemes and look the other way. She smiles, asking him to ditch everyone and run off together. She's ditching the drama for a quiet life where no one can find her. Takumi looks down, calling it impossible. He already did that 10 years ago. He can change the past. He ran away, and now it's time to pay the price. Flashback to Chaos Valley's massive rocky cliffs. Lyndon steps up and names Rick the official party leader. Takumi smiles and trusts Ricky, clueless he's talking to a traitor. The armored guy pushes into the narrow path while the rest hang back. He triggers shell release, energy shattering his armor. Suddenly, a massive lion-headed chimera with a snake tail appears right before him. Karna watches the vision, identifying the ancient magic used to create a chimera. Takumi panics. He remembers this perfectly. That's the thing that attacked him. Flashback, the beast roars and lunges at him, claws out. Rick screams, "What is that thing faking shock like he didn't plan it?" Flashback. Alice panics. The intel was wrong. This monster shouldn't be here. She screams, lunging forward to stop it. The chimera slams its paws, crushing the ground right in front of them. Someone shouts, "It's still moving." It tanked Alice's direct hit like nothing. Takumi looks up in terror as massive jaws loom over him. The chimera's massive swipe clobbers him. He's ragdolled through the air as Alice screams his name. Takumi tells Karna he's watching the memory, but one mystery still remains. He still doesn't know how that chimera strike didn't kill him instantly. The memory reveals why Alice screams as a massive light pillar erupts. Alice is overwhelmed by this massive power, unable to stop her destructive impulses. The witch screams at Takumi to stay back, claiming Alice is too dangerous and already lost. Takumi ignores the warning, charging his broken body straight into the energy blast. The witch screams his name as he collapses, groaning from his old injuries. He looks up as Alice roars like a beast, charging him with pure, feral killing intent. Strongest versus weakest. Neither side backs down. Takumi realizes he was born for one purpose: to stop Alice. Alice swings, but her fist lands with a soft, harmless thud. Her rage breaks. She's dazed as Takumi gently pats her head. She panics, seeing the blood and demanding to know what happened. Takumi gently reassures her it's over, and she's finally safe. Alice beams, back to normal, admitting Takumi's a beast she can't beat even at full power. She hugs him tight, shouting that he's the strongest in the universe. Takumi's battered, but he just smiles. She's 100 right. Those exact words echo through the darkness, and Rick reveals it's his catchphrase from 10 years ago. Takumi's floored. That's more shocking than Rick being the villain. Karna panics, screaming that Takun is dying and checking if he's still alive. Takumi ignores the pain, realizing he should have died long ago. He realizes Rick's been using an invisible shield to tank damage this whole time. Takumi and Karna freeze. This setup started way back then. Karna's clueless, but Takumi realizes Alice's misunderstanding was the secret to making him the strongest. Amidst the wreckage, Rick confirms Takumi nailed the script. Takumi stares in shock, speechless and stammering as he struggles to process his enemy's words. Rick reveals his true goal: crown Takumi king of the world, then end it all. Takumi realizes the truth. That vision wasn't random. Rick showed it to him on purpose. Rick didn't plan for the demon sword, but Karna snaps back. She's sticking with Taka no matter what. Takumi steps forward. Why work so hard to make a weakling look strong? Rick says their king must know true pain, the weakest human alive. He insists this weakling must somehow surpass them all. Rick grabs his face, revealing a rotted corpse. Now Takumi has to take over. Takumi sees the rot and snaps, screaming in terror. He screams that Rick's headless and hollow, terrified by the empty armor. Rick stammers, struggling to explain himself. Takumi cuts him off and bails, yelling to put on a helmet because a talking neck stump is way too creepy. Rattled, Rick agrees and scrambles to jam his helmet back on. Takumi cools down and tells Rick being king changes nothing. He's powerless and refuses to act. Rick agrees, admitting Takumi really does nothing but lays around. He's fine being the king of misunderstandings. Alice will be the one taking the title of strongest. Rick spreads his arms, shouting that this outcome eluded him for thousands of years. Fully armored and rocking pigtails, he calls this a perfect world. Sweating and confused, Takumi demands to know what Rick means by a perfect world. Rick's dead serious, and its gross obsessing for thousands of years is terrifying. Takumi scoffs. He'll never be king of something so embarrassing. Rick says his wants don't matter. The confusion is already unstoppable. He doubles down, declaring Takumi will rule this world forever. Takumi cuts him off, pointing a finger in a total panic. He tells Rick to shut up and look back. Rick freezes, confused. Takumi beams and shouts for Behemoth, spotting the little blob right there. The creature chirps back at Takumi, but Alice slides in and Takumi immediately tries to snitch on Rick.